Attention viewer, you are watching the world's biggest Monster Truck Diecast YouTube channel. This is Monster Jam OCD.
Hi.
Well, hello, Monster Jam fans and people across the world. Welcome back to the Monster Truck Collecting Podcast. I apologize for my lateness. Yet again, another week of being late, but we're still here 5 minutes or so in.
People turn into a Joe Sylvester, you know?
Well, you know what?
That happens.
It happens. So, Phil, do you want to start with your announcement or do you want to wait till the end?
Of course, but first, we are joined once again by RJ, and I said your last name wrong last week, didn't I?
Yeah. So RJ is back by very popular demand. Last week, I didn't really have much of a discussion with RJ. Wasn't my, my expertise. So we'll have much more of a one-on-one discussion between us three of 2005 Hot Wheels Monster Jam. But again, Phil, if you want to do that now, please feel free to take the floor for a little while here.
Oh, of course. Well, tonight's a good night. We're going to have a lot of fun here, and that's why I brought some snacks. Now, although it's not in a bowl,
oh, boy,
I do have fish food. See? Because I do now have in my possession world exclusive, a Jurassic Attack Christmas ornament.
I can't believe this.
There it is.
How did you get this? How did you manage to do this?
Well, I had a member on our Facebook group. Tyler Roberts reached out to me. He knew the Desperate Please. I was looking for a Christmas ornament. He reached out to me last week, and lo and behold, a week later, we now have a full Christmas ornament collection until they make new ones next year.
Unbelievable.
There it is. Tell all your friends. Still got dress. It has all three horns. It has the headdress. This is a little dusty, but she's good to go. She'll be on the tree and probably put into a safe when the Christmas is over.
And now you have to eat, what was it, 16, 17-year-old fish food?
Well, I won't do that. I lied, but I will.
You lied? You can't lie to the viewers. Okay, wow. they're going to come after me. You're the one responsible for the outrage that's coming up. We're finding that fish food. You made a promise to our viewers, and I have to uphold that promise. But regardless, Phil, congratulations on your find. I was blown away when you sent me that text message today. I couldn't believe my eyes. And for it to have all four wheels, all three horns, and the little head thing, whatever the frill or whatever it's called, that is just crazy. So congratulations, Phil, on your find. Now I just need to find an Inferno, and we'll all be happy and complete. So again, RJ, welcome to the show as well. Welcome back by, again, very popular demand. You are here now, and we are very happy to have you. So, Phil, if you want to fire up 2005 Brian Z. Patton, let's get on the road with it.
Quit eating, Phil. That's not fish food.
You're eating that. You're eating the fish food. People are going to be so angry. They already are in the comments.
Oh, God.
Kyle Knickerbocker puts his input on the screen for you. Okay, here we go. 2005. What a year. Good years so far up in this point. We don't have many repeats, and we're now in the age of the big hubs, as we discussed in the last Hot Wheels episode. 2004 was Phil's camera turned off, and somehow it's my logo. But as we discussed in 2004, they switched from the small hub era into the big hubs, and now we are forever until we go into the giant wheels, I guess you would consider, with the Hot Wheels monster trucks. We're basically going to be at this level for the next considerable amount of years. I think 13 or so years more after this. So welcome to 2005. The first one is, of course, the classic Gravedigger. Probably not much to talk about, but Phil, if you please.
Yeah, well, there is, the only mention is that In 2004, we do see this Gravedigger make its first appearance on the big wheels, but it was only like a limited run, I believe. So this is really the first time that everybody gets a chance to own a proper Gravedigger for the era. So that's cool. It's the same standard digger we know and love now, but for the time, this is a very big deal to have it mass produced and everybody gets a chance.
Yes, and also important thing to note is the new packaging that they chose to go with. Big ramp insert. They have the 3D Monster Jam logo, cardboard insert, new card design. I think is Gravedigger faintly still in the background there? Is that
on the card back?
Yeah, it looks like it up in the right corner.
I think that is Gravedigger. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, like a ghostly image of the ghost of Gravedigger. Interesting that they keep putting that on there. 2004 had the big Gravedigger rendering. Now we have a slightly less noticeable addition of Gravedigger on there as well. So yes, the first release since the last time we saw this truck, which was in 2004, now officially the new design of the Gravedigger, which has been running side by side with the older design in real life, and then the old design being used in Hot Wheels for too long. So it's nice to have this. RJ, it's Gravedigger, but if you have anything to say, feel free to jump in after.
It's just Gravedigger again. Nothing too crazy changes or anything. Just starting the year strong.
Yeah, and also you'll notice a numbering system. I believe they were pretty sharp on the numbers this year. I think, Phil, unless you are disagreeing.
I think towards the tail end, the numbers get kind of goofy.
Okay.
We will discuss some stuff at the end, but it's a lot more consistent than what we had in 2004 with the small wheel checklist. So
yeah, last episode was just crazy. Also, I want to point out that this year's Hot Wheels Monster Trucks, or coming year's Hot Wheels Monster Trucks 2021, already is doing the same thing where they're going really weird with how they're numbering. So it's kind of a repeat of the past this far back. So number 2, I think it was Nightmare Express, an independent.
Yes.
I believe this is the only time we're going to see it in the line. We'll also see it in a multi-pack. But yes, there it is, Nightmare Express. Again, real life independent. I don't think the truck looked like that though.
No, it was close, but not quite.
So this appears to be another Hot Wheels concept of an independent truck, which we have seen in the past as well. But it's one of actually the classic independents of the SUV tooling that I really liked back in the day. It reminded me, probably because it reminded me of Inferno, but this is a really cool use of, I believe, the debut of this body.
This is the first year we see this SUV tooling.
Okay, I was just making sure because I felt like it was in 2004, but I kind of had a feeling it wasn't. So yeah, this is the debut of the new SUV tooling, so the more appropriate one compared to the Astrovan, which we had up until 2004. So this is replacing Astrovan. You won't see Astrovan ever again after this point. So Nightmare does debut that. So Phil and RJ, please feel free to take over from.
Yeah, so just kind of a footnote here. I think a lot of people know the Nightmare as a pickup truck. That's Andy Hoffman's Nightmare. This is a different Nightmare truck. This is Nightmare Express. This is the truck that was with Gary Bauer, who's now Monster Truck Hall of Famer. So, Gary's has a lot of different trucks like Lone Ranger, and he was around Screaming Demon. Nightmare Express was one of his trucks. I really don't remember Nightmare Express doing a ton of shows. Like, maybe it was more of like a show and shine kind of truck, at least maybe where I remember it the most. But either way, it's nice to see a toy of it, even though it's not the right scheme. So pretty interesting. It's another one of those times where like Hot Wheels kind of thought outside the box and like, hey, we have this new tooling. Who can we go after? And Gary Bauer got the call here and got his Nightmare truck made.
Yep. Good stuff. I mean, just a new tool. That's what jumped out at me on the toy aisle back in the day for sure. That, oh, hey, it's a new SUV tool. Got to pick it up. Solid truck.
Yeah, I agree. And the casting itself as a whole is a really good way to pivot from that Astrovan tooling. It's far more accurate, even though it doesn't match every single SUV out there. It brings together more qualities of an SUV casting than the Astrovan was for those years that it was being used. So I'm very happy to see this tooling. And it was a great tooling until they replaced it with the more modern tooling that Hot Wheels still uses. So That's number 2 of this year, which is the Nightmare Express, and then on to 3, which I forgot what it was, War Wizard.
Wizard.
Another independent, pretty well casted truck here as well. This is the classic War Wizard scheme that I remember seeing as a kid on TV. So I really loved this scheme, and this was just a really cool release, and good use of slight 3D modifications, but not too far out there. This always was and still is a very unique mashup body of a truck. So this is the War Wizard. If we keep scrolling through the pictures, you can see the details. So there's the back, nothing printed on there, but the front is nice. It has the skull headlights, which was a real cool.
Dang it.
And then the roof there with that cool moon and star pattern. Just a really great truck with the decal quality at the time. Really improved this paint scheme's overall look on shelf. So I love the paint color as well, the dark blue that they chose. So that's War Wizard. Phil can give you more background on that one.
Yeah, well, War Wizard, when this truck hit the scene, it was like such a radical different truck. So, for it to get the toy so fast, hats off to everybody here. And, War Wizard still has the same body, and the tooling fits what's going on with the truck. I will say in future time, I wish we would get a lot more different War Wizard schemes, but first year, first War Wizard, first time for the tool, this is it.
Yeah. Solid truck that you didn't have before. I'm pretty sure first release for War Wizard as well.
Yes.
Okay. So new truck, new mold too. Really popped on the aisle. Was one I definitely had. Good truck, solid truck.
Yep, totally agree. Great independent choice, and again, unique body style, and one of the more accurate castings of Mattel's time with the Hot Wheels or Monster Jam contracts. So there is War Wizard number 3.
Before we move on here, I think it's time to talk about some of the running. Oh, maybe not.
There's a couple of power forwards.
There's a lot of packaging variants that come up this year. I thought maybe we kind of get towards it now, but since I kind of hinted at it early, I guess I'll just bring it up quickly. With this 2005 line, you look at the base, they have a couple different variations where it says 2005 number 3, or just say like just the number. And then with 3D Monster Jam logo, like this would be a little piece of cardboard you can like stick out. But then sometimes it wouldn't be. There's all sorts of goofy stuff. So just be careful if you're a carded collector. This is another one of those weird years where you're going to have a tough time.
This is why I'm not a carded collector. So, anyway, Blacksmith, another return to the scene here. We did have Blacksmith years ago in small hubs with the classic scheme. This is now the more modern scheme that it was running. You can actually see the classic scheme in the picture of the truck on the card there, or the little plaque insert. So that's the new one. This actually did run, obviously, a real-life scheme this way. Very accurate to the real-life truck. They did a fabulous job with this casting, as we discussed over the years, with this being used so many times before this release. And this is one of the trucks that I really do miss in Monster Jam. It brought a lot of spirit, color, variety to the sport. And I did have the chance to see this a couple times during my career in Monster Jam, collecting and also in real life being a fan. It's been a long journey of Blacksmith in the collecting world, and then of course it retired. But this is the start of a couple more releases that you'll see. So this is definitely the paint scheme that I miss. I love this specific scheme. I know a lot of fans miss Blacksmith, and it's also one of the more overshadowed retired trucks. You often hear Backwards Bob or Bulldozer, but Blacksmith, not often mentioned. I think it's more of a sadly forgotten truck, but this release definitely brings back those memories. So, Phil, go ahead.
This is such an iconic truck. It's one of those nostalgia feels, bring back Blacksmith kind of deals. Blacksmith still gets a lot of love today, where nostalgia or just even random appearances in like the yearbook or the current toy lines and stuff. Every now and then you would get a Blacksmith come out, but there's nothing wrong here with this toy. It's just there's nothing wrong. What'd you say, Archer?
Yep, perfect, spot on, great truck. I miss it too. Wish it would come back. That Raging Steel is on the list, top 3 with Bulldozer as well. So a good truck brings back a lot of memories for sure.
Totally agree. And I think it also has Pablo's name on there as well.
Yes,
Oh,
it does,
yeah.
on both sides. And you know what's
fine
interesting?
print there.
I don't think Pablo ever drove the truck outside the World Finals.
Yeah,
Oh.
right.
He's the most identified with it, but Blacksmith was driven by his son and his wife, and Norm Miller, and Corey Clark and Aaron Basil. Like there was a couple others in there. So, but whenever you think of Blacksmith, you think Pablo Huffaker because he would always drive it at the World Finals. And then that one year, it changed to Captain's Curse. He won a world championship, so not bad.
Yeah. So either way, I love that they did put his name on there. Well associated, like you said, with Blacksmith, regardless of how many times he did drive it or if it was just in World Finals. I think anyone who knows about the Blacksmith story will always think of Pablo when you think of that. His face pops up in my mind right when I see this truck every time, no matter what the circumstances. So yes, Blacksmith number 4 of this year. Just a great overall perfect truck.
All right, get your big boy pants on. Here comes the variants.
Yeah.
All right. So we have 3 variations of power forward. 2 of them take place on the truck, and 1 of them take place on the packaging. So this one was it the Ford grill?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the Ford grill variant. But before we start the actual variation specific things, here's power forward for this release. A bit bright on the orange color. The real life truck was more of a basketball orange, which is that kind of burnt color. But this is a bright release. Obviously a paint scheme that has a lot of backstory to it. I think Chad Fortune talked about this on another podcast where he revealed that Bret Hart photo. Talked about how they wanted to make it look like a basketball, but when they did make it, it didn't really turn out that way. The toy turned out kind of right, but putting a basketball round wrap on a monster truck Ford body, didn't translate perfectly. I don't think many people even know it's a basketball. I think more people think it's just this crazy orange color of a truck. So, it's an interesting truck with a lot of story behind it. Obviously, we had a release a couple years prior with the Karl Malone scheme. This is still under Karl Malone's name, but less related to him, more related to just the name itself and the basketball theme. So there is the artwork for it. Obviously, purple, white, and orange playing a major role in the color palette. This was also designed by, I believe it was designed co-part by Neil Vandenberg, who has this on his website as well. So anyway, there's that. The rim inserts do not exist. Obviously, the only truck that you'll ever see in Hot Wheels Monster Jam have rim inserts or anything close to this, that sort would be Batman. But these, as you can see, if you scroll down just a little bit to show the rendering or the photo of the truck, or actually I guess up, the truck had those basketball inserts on both the original scheme and this scheme, but never in the actual toy form. So there is that. And then this is the variation with the Ford grille, which is actually right there. So you can see that tiny little emblem. I mentioned this in terms of Hot Wheels Monster Jam years ago, in terms of episodes, a couple episodes ago, that the Ford emblem would eventually disappear. And it's in this year that you see it disappear. The Chevy emblem or the bow tie or whatever they call it disappeared years back. But the Ford emblem stays until 2005 and disappears kind of out of nowhere. So you'll see this, and you'll see, if we go to the other one real quick, the other option, I guess you would say, which is the one without the emblem. So you'll see that on here. So there it is. So they modified the casting to remove the Ford emblem, probably because of an expired contract or whatever reason it is. So you can see it's just a blank, well, not blank, but Ford emblem-less grille. So there is that variation. And then one more variation before I let them talk about this is the packaging variation, which is the yearless edition. As you can see,
also a different render on the package.
Yeah, I was about to say that's a far different rendering, really odd looking rendering of the truck with regular rims, color changed to be orange. But yeah, you can see the 2005 above the number 5 is not there. And like Phil mentioned, you'll see that happen throughout this year. But that's the 3 variations of Power 4 that you can find as a carded collector, 2 of them as a loose collector. Phil, please take over, and then RJ.
Man, I tell you, Power Forward, this is one of my favorites because of the bright colors, and this is such a sought-after. Power Forwards are always a sought-after truck because they only came out 1 year, and especially this orange one. I think the orange one identifies more with people because of the bright colors and stuff. This change signified when I believe Karl Malone, at the end of his career, he played his last season with the Lakers. So that's why it says number 11 on the roof, because that was the number when he was with Los Angeles, opposed when he was with the Jazz. He was number 32. Cool story with power forward personally. I befriended somebody who used to work for Monster Jam about 8 or so years ago. My dad met him at a Son of a Digger display, and we were just chit-chatting. He was a sales manager for Monster Jam, and we talked about the collecting things I would do and the forum that we were part of at the time. And he sent me a package saying, you said you have a lot of trucks. I bet you don't have one like this. And inside the package was a power forward in package, autographed by Karl Malone.
Ooh.
It's super cool. I have it in my display cabinet with all the exclusives of World Final trucks.
Nice.
It holds a high regard. Karl, if anyone knows that when this truck was around, Karl Malone was very much involved with the team. So it's super cool to have a piece like that. It's something, I don't know where he got it or how, but that's my personal connection with power forward. I actually own 3 of these, so it means a lot. It's super cool.
That's nice. That's a good story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a solid truck. Looks more like a basketball than the previous truck, which I believe that's what they're going for here. Still a little hard to do, especially on diecast. Was a truck I got in 124, all the scales. I'm pretty sure I used to play basketball, so this was a big truck for me, and got as many different variants as I remember. But yeah, solid truck for sure.
And so Karl Malone, I see him comment there. Karl Malone never drove the truck in competition, and that's a common misconception because I'm pretty sure he's in every single yearbook for power forward. So you go down there's a page for him in the yearbook to get autographed. He did an intro at a special event that they put together in Salt Lake City. But other than that, and some celebrity stuff, they would do celebrity things at the World Finals. That was the only time Karl got in the truck. He never drove competitively, which is a crying shame because I think he could have. And I think with them keeping him in the yearbook, I'm sure maybe it was something that was kicked around at a Salt Lake City. Hey, let's put Karl in the truck and really have some fun. But never came to be. I'd imagine Karl's probably still a fan. I don't know if he keeps in contact with Chad Fortune, who was probably the main driver of power forward for its time period, which makes sense because both guys are huge. So if Karl did decide to drive, that was back in the era where the seats weren't custom molded to every specific person. So he's probably one of the only people on the planet that could fit in Chad Fortune's seat. So wasn't meant to be, but
Tony Oaks too. He's pretty tall.
Yeah, the whole Uncle Tone, but he was probably fighting for our freedom at that time. So whole different era.
Yeah. Great stories. This is why we have Phil. He always has the more interesting side of the interior of Monster Jam. So power forward, obviously a truck with a lot of history. Even though it was just a very temporary truck, it still has a rich history in Monster Jam and the backstories of the internal side of things. So very cool. Next up is another new independent to the scene, which is number 6, Rap Attack. If Phil, you have something to say?
Who, me? No, eventually.
I thought you were going to say something. So Rap Attack is a very interesting truck because it's like this split paint job thing that they do. I think this was taking place during this toy form. Yes, it is. Okay, so it has like this checkered flag and it has this American flag side, which is a really cool feature of this truck. We never see this same paint scheme again. We actually see its more modern scheme for a couple years in a row. But this is the only time you get this purple split paint job scheme of Rap Attack. You can see the Hot Wheels logo on the tailgate, very prominent there. And then this bright neon green roll cage that not even Gravedigger, which has that exact color roll cage, receives. So it's like this blinding green, which is really cool. And again, you can see that split begin on the roof there. And the photo there, you can also see the truck on its placard. But that is the basic runaround of Rap Attack, the introduction of this truck into the Monster Jam line. And there it is with the actual photo of the truck. So Phil, please let us know all we need to know about Rap Attack.
Yeah, so I know I wish that we kind of had another angle of this truck out of package so we can see that American flag wrap, because it's not very often in especially in toys, where the graphics are different on every side. Like Captain's Curse is one of them because it has 2 separate graphics, and some of the later schemes like the World Finals 20 Avenger, and that comes to mind real quick. So this is such an early change up, and this is around a time where the half and half Avenger ran at the World Finals. It was half green and half orange. And forever, the longest time, Hot Wheels said they could never make that truck because of the technology and the processes of having that truck be split. Now we know with like Spin Master, they're able to do that split Bounty Hunter from the World Finals, and Hot Wheels has now since messed around with stuff like that. So fast forward to 2020, 2021 land, we can do that split Avenger, but back then we could never do it. But we got this Rap Attack, which was pretty darn close. They got away with the Rap Attack because, Dave Rapich's truck in real life and with the toy here, it was still that same purple body. So you keep that body purple, you're just putting different graphics on each side. So unless if you had the Avenger, you would have to paint it green and just have awkward orange, or paint it orange and have awkward green. Back then, the technologies did not exist to do something like that. So Rap Attack was the closest thing we got to split paint job, and they nailed it here.
Yep. Solid stuff for sure. I had one. I probably still do, maybe. I don't know. I have so many containers full. Wish I had it out to show the other side of it, but solid truck, great roll cage color too, and great paint scheme.
Yeah, totally agree. So there's Rap Attack. Again, weird how they never did split paint jobs until 2018, but this is technically one of them. So there is Rap Attack by Hot Wheels for this year. And now we're on to number 7. So number 7 is the return of the classic He-Man tooling. As we discussed, it was going to return a couple times, and this is one of the other 2 times one of the 2 times it returns in the line under a different name. So Titus, interesting name. I really do like the color choice. I like the simplicity of just going with silver and a very minor use of the maroon color. But as you can see, there is the Titus with the same tooling on the big hubs this time. I didn't realize this on the He-Man, I guess it was there, but the window has, or the windshield has spikes painted, it looks like. We'll see with the front view. But as we go around, you can see the tailgate there, really cool. And then one more view. I guess you can't see it from that view either, but there's the perfect view. So you can see the spikes on the windshield are painted in. I don't know if they did that for He-Man. It's possible they did, but I might not have noticed it. But you can see very simple scheme, very what I would call Hot Wheels original based. You can see that modern day Hot Wheels Monstrucks is very similar to what Titus looks like, which is when they go off kind of on their own design queue and they do their own thing. This is exactly what they've always done, and this is how it's always been. So it's a very, again, original Hot Wheels truck right here for this casting. And the rendering also is really cool to see with that He-Man tooling yet again rendered out. So, Phil, I'm sure there's probably not much to talk about with Titus on the internal side, but feel free.
2005, this is what this line is known for. When the Hot Wheels originals came and they never left. This is what this line is most known for. Originals that you only see once, never again, as well as like the trucks like that Rap Attack and Power Forward and Nightmare Express. A lot of one-offs in this 2005 line that makes this line so valuable. Although, if you're somebody playing in your carpet league, there's no need to buy Titus because Titus is not a real truck. It's nowhere close to a real truck. But from a collector, Titus is worth some money here. And a lot of the other originals, because you only have one shot to get it. And it's like so out of left field. So we're going to see so many of these. We're just getting started with these originals. That Titus is a great example of that. When you forget it was out there because it only came in 2005.
Yep. It's a good original. Some of these ideas that they had back then, I wish they would bring back. This isn't one of them, but it is one of their originals. I do have this truck still today. It's out in somewhere. I just saw it the other day, so it is alive and well here. But it was one I picked up just because of the mold. They probably used that on purpose to get people to, oh, hey, look at this. This looks different. the ones that didn't notice it was the He-Man
Studio.
rewrapped. But good.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's Titus. Really, again, very Hot Wheels original style truck here, and I like that they reused that mold because it was actually a really cool casting. It's kind of a waste that they didn't use it more than they did. But there's number 7. Number 8, joining in the conversation, I lied. I thought the Astrovan was gone. Astrovan Scarlet Bandit back yet again. We're going to see either this year or next year, I believe it's 2006, that we're going to see the official scheme, the pink scheme used on that new SUV casting. But
7.
sorry, Astrovan is back one more time for a haunting appearance. Couple of times, I think, actually. Fangora is still up for grabs. Yeah. So Scarlet Bandit with this maroon paint scheme. We saw the similar release of it back in 2003 or sometime back then. This one's actually different. You'll notice the logo itself, Scarlet Bandit logo, is a newer edition of that, the truck itself, and it'll be the one that it uses for years to come. The picture there, I can't tell if that's the pink body or not.
Well, it's the newer scheme, but so it's got new schemes at this time. So
okay, so it looks like Hot Wheels is taking the new decals and putting them on the old paint style and old body for whatever reason they did that. So it's kind of a mashup scheme. I don't believe Scarlet Bandit ever ran this style scheme with this logo, with this color, all these perfect things aligning. I don't think it did.
It was never like this hue. It was more of like a pink shade. So there's a lot of goofy here, and you're talking about it now with that Astrovan body. We just got done talking about how we have a new SUV body, and we see the Scarlet Bandit made here. I think the same year we do see a bounty hunter on a new body. So I don't understand why this happened. And what's even more curious, we keep seeing the Scarlet Bandit until 2007 in some capacity. This Astrovan Scarlet Bandit. It's so strange. I don't know why the love here, especially with the shade of color. Even in 2007, when we get to the episode, we get the new Scarlet Bandit, but we still get this in a 4-pack and in a Monster Jam exclusive. So it's so mind-boggling why this even has to exist. I mean, it's cool. You can buy it, but it's like such a shame when you put it next to the Bounty Hunter from the same year and they don't look alike.
Yeah, I agree. Again, I thought Astrovan was gone, but I forget that it does come back in random packs and stuff. So I guess it's a haunting memory. It's not going to go away for a little while. But Scarlet Bandit did get, what's the best phrase for this? It got, pushed aside, really. As Bounty Hunter received this new tooling, and the Scarlet Bandit doesn't. Scarlet Bandit also maintains this kind of dark magenta color. It got snuffed out by others, but I just think that it really deserved better. We also received the new paint scheme, pink, in 2006. I believe it's 2006 with the Tilt-Off series, but we never received a normal release of it. This could have been the first year that it actually had a normal, as we call it, the riveted down release, not a tilt-offs, not an X-ray or whatever other things that involve the body coming off. This is the time that it could have been, and they chose not to go with it that time. So that's that Scarlet Bandit. And RJ, if you have anything else.
No, that's about it. You guys took over that truck pretty well. There's not much to talk about it. Just why is that body on it?
Yeah, it's a real shame that that they didn't take the time to do that. But there's Scarlet Bandit, number 7 or 8, one of those two. I can't remember which one it was. So next up,
number 8.
Okay, number 9 then is the Cremator. So another Hot Wheels original, and this is the time you're going to see a ton of Hot Wheels originals pop into the line.
Yep.
Whether it's because they didn't want to do repeats, or they didn't have enough independent contracts or Monster Jam trucks to do, they start to introduce the originals, and we've seen them since 2000. Was that Chillin'? Oh, actually 2001. So 2001 started the official originals, and they never do stop doing originals. There's a couple of years, I think, where there aren't any, or if there are any, they're repeated ones. But this is the year you're going to see a lot of new ones, and a lot of ones that don't ever return. So Cremator is this brand new hearse-style casting. I don't know if this casting was ever used in Hot Wheels. I would think that they probably did use this as a Hot Wheels car. It looks like a Hot Wheels car to me. Definitely a conversion of a Hot Wheels car. I don't know, though. If you guys are Hot Wheels collectors out there know any of the car castings that could be this, let me know. But this is definitely a hearse vehicle. Cremator, obviously referring to cremation. So you'll notice that this starts a trend of death and kind of funerals and things and all the things that come along with dying being involved with this hearse scheme. So cremator is the first of those eerie, odd, dark names as it relates to the hearse. So cremator, as you can see, I guess that guy is the cremator who is doing cremations. An interesting scheme. It's got a matte clear coat, which you don't often see used during this time period. It also has an orange windshield or window choice. And just I loved this casting. It's just, and I also love the idea of having a dark kind of side to the line, but it was kind of an eerie thing for toys of this age group. So, I'm sure there's parents out there that don't agree with me on that one, like agreeing that this looks like a cool idea, but it's, per person there's different opinions. But there is Cremator. Phil, again, I don't think there's probably anything really to talk about with this one, but.
No, I mean, yeah, it's not one of those originals. I like the idea. I mean, when you kind of think about it, maybe not the most appropriate for a kids toy line, but it's cool. I mean, it's one of my more favorites. I don't know. It's cool. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, not one of the favorite, or not one of the top 3, top 5 Hot Wheels originals per se, but it wasn't terrible. It's not the same truck with a different roof logo 10 times over. So.
I agree with that comment. I'm foolish. I blanked out. This casting is not a Hot Wheels car casting. It's actually based off of Cardiac Arrest.
I knew that.
Hold on. That's not true.
Okay.
Well, I knew Cardiac Arrest was a real truck.
Cardiac Arrest don't come out till next year, so that's.
Oh, okay.
That's like Pony Express using the Spider-Man tool.
Ooh. Yeah, well, then again, this casting's pretty close.
It's cool in the comments.
Yeah, okay, fine. That's for Levi then. That one goes to Levi.
Annihilating him out here.
But it is interesting that they did bring up this hearse casting out of nowhere. It will align with Cardiac Arrest. Maybe it's the reason. Maybe they meant to slate Cadillac and then it just didn't happen.
Hey, I don't question, especially in this year where we get in these trucks instead of like Session or like a King. We don't even get a King Crunch. Or we do, right? No, we didn't even get like a King Crunch. No. I don't question nothing in 2005. It don't make any.
Okay, I do, but anyway, that's the beginning of this hearse body. You're going to see it again in this episode. So next up is the return of what I mentioned as one of my favorite independent 3D bodies of all time, which is the Shocker, back again on the big hubs. So you can see there's that cool 3D lightning body, which I did watch its accidental destruction in Anaheim when he retired. I don't think this has a variation, Phil. If you look at the tailgate, I think they all. Oh, actually, maybe it does. This is the partial graphics, which we saw in small hub form, have both variations of the print and the non-print. This is a non-print edition. I don't know if there's a variation of it.
I haven't seen any, but if you have a tailgate that's full, that's in a 2005 package, we need to talk to you.
Yeah, then I need to talk to you because I need it for my collection too. Because I don't know if there's one. Brian doesn't list it. So there is that truck. Phil's talked about it last time we had this one. And if you want to talk about it again for the new viewers, go ahead. And then RJ, if you want to chime in.
What was I supposed to talk about? Oh, now this body is shocking.
Yeah,
it's very powerful.
Pat Gerber drove this, and he used to have a blue wig.
That's basically the same thing Phil said last time. RJ, if you have anything to say about Shocker, since you weren't here for that discussion.
No, y'all talked about it enough in that episode. It's a good truck. Great.
Yeah, it was a classic, and I do miss that one. I if they ever bring this body back, I'd be very, very happy. I think it's in the modern age with so many 3D castings. This is such a simple addition of a 3D casting, but it's very effective. And as the world trends towards more 3D trucks, like for instance the Kraken and stuff, this is more of a truck that belongs now. It didn't really belong back in the day. It was kind of one of those oddball things, but now it totally belongs. It fits right in.
Yeah, we don't have it like this. Like once it's like almost like when you wrecked it, like we never got it again, which stinks.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's when I saw it crash and he says I won't be able to financially fix this. I was like, oh, and it never did come back. But it's almost underdressed for the 2020 scene. It could actually use more 3D, but I like where it stood with its very minimalistic 3D features. So anyway, next up, number 11, whatever that is, when Phil's ready, we'll see what that is, which is Robots.
Oh,
so actually a really underrated movie. I think many people forget the movie Robots. I do remember seeing it. Funny thing is that I saw this pop up on eBay back in 2007, or I don't think I was collecting 2005 because I started in 2006. So anyway, it was weird how my stores worked. They had old stuff and they had new stuff. But anyway, I remember seeing this on eBay and I begged my dad to take me to Target that night because I really wanted this truck. And I remember seeing the movie. And we go into Target, it's the first thing on the pegs in 2007, I believe. So this was an odd time.
Wow.
But Robots has always been I have always loved the colors they chose. They're so bright and kind of vibrant. So you can see the Robots movie advertised through this truck. It never was a real truck, but the movie was a real thing. I don't remember any of the characters' names, but this is our main protagonist here on the side. Robots logo, split scheme with the blue, robin's egg blue or turquoise, whatever you prefer to call it, and the beige. There's the tailgate there with a license plate, which is really cool. Powered by Robots, tailgate printing, tail lights, headlights, grill, and then the roof there. I think that's the bad guy, I believe. I don't know his name either, but our antagonist up there. Just an overall very great, simple advertisement of the movie. I really liked what they did with it. It's always so expensive, though, on eBay. And the ones that aren't expensive are chipped up to pieces. And when you have a bright paint scheme, any chips are very noticeable. And I hunted down the cheapest one I could find in mint condition. It took a long time to do that. But Robots has always been one of my favorite originals that never came to be a real life truck of the Hot Wheels Monster Jam scene. So Phil and RJ, go ahead.
Just like Van Helsing, I've never seen Robots. So I don't have any sentimental attachment. But yeah, it's that value thing. And this is maybe the poster child for the year. Robots. It's another one of those trucks. It's original. You only get it once.
Yep.
Back then, why do I need it? Collector in you now, I need to have it. But now you got to pay for it. So if you got a Robot, tip your hat because it's one of the more pricier of the priciers in 2005.
To think about it, all these years later, I didn't know. I got a lot of these trucks because my store had a bunch of them back then, and I liked the movie. Unlike the other truck series, I hadn't seen that movie. I did see this movie. Drove me to get a couple extra trucks, and I probably should have kept a couple of those in the package. Looking back, but solid truck.
I know where there's one in package. I saw it over the weekend. So if somebody's desperate, I think it was like $15 or $20 at a collector's store. So
I mean, I'm sure I got them in the containers somewhere.
$15 to $20 is not bad for Robots.
If anybody really wants it, give me a call.
It's a good one.
I'll see if it's still there.
Anyway, Robots, a great addition to the Hot Wheels Monster Jam line and one of the better originals, in my personal take, of the era. So there is 2005's Robots and another great Hot Wheels original, a classic, really. This is Clown Town. And, people always say it's the precursor to Jester. I disagree, but, to each their own. But here's Clown Town. It's actually a really creepy paint scheme. For kids.
Yeah, that's the cremator over there.
Yeah, I never have really taken a second to look at Clown Town and its scheme. But wow, that is terrifying. So, for kids who I assume most kids are scared of clowns, making them look demonic like Pennywise of the modern era, probably was the best idea, but regardless, it existed as a truck, and it is one of the originals. And as we continue to scroll down here, this is not the only Hot Wheels idea that they use clowns with. You're going to see Chill Out. You're also going to see in Hot Wheels cars, there's this ice cream truck with the really scary looking clown on it too. They just love creepy clowns. And for those who are squeamish about clowns, this probably scares the bejeebus out of you. So you can see this is just a really creepy scheme. They're doing really dark humor with this stuff.
Dark window.
Eliminator, which you'll see, Chill Out.
No, either. Like, what are you hiding?
Yeah. So let's get a shot of that top clown there. You can just see a zoomed in shot, if we can, of that top clown. You can just see they put a lot of effort into this artwork, and I love it. It's really cool. I'm not scared of it now, but as a child, I was terrified of Chill Out, and I was terrified of Clown Town because I hated clowns. I don't hate them anymore, but it was just a weird thing, and it's just a terrifying scheme for poor little kids and the collectors of that time. So, Phil and RJ, go ahead.
What got me with this truck? It's like you have this crazy detailed, like now you're looking at it, it's spooky. And then let's just look at the hood, and there's just like
a smiley face,
like a 2005 equivalent of an emoji on the hood.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's like hi. It's like they went over to Dollar Tree and they found some stickers. They're like, all right,
they made one part of the truck kid friendly, and that was it.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's like it's more fun at the circus, and then you take you to Clown Town.
Yeah, this one was this one, and what was the other clown?
Chill Out.
Chill Out. They were teammates on the Carpet Monster Truck League for sure. They didn't scare me too much. I liked Clown Town better than the other one, but it didn't. Honestly, back then I didn't look at how like graphic these clowns are, and now looking back on it, I'm like, wow, okay, all right. But yeah, I liked it. It's not for everybody, but it is another original.
Yeah, I don't dislike it now in the modern time, but back then, again, it terrified me. But this is
wearing a clown nose. Oh
yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, it would be cool if you had a 3D.
You know what? No, he's right. Look at that.
Yeah,
nice,
cool.
And the dark window really just sets it.
Graphics from the
Still
hood.
Like an emoji.
My belief will never change, but now that I know the correct answer, I feel a little better.
Yeah. So anyway, that's Clown Town, another original paint scheme. Next up is number 13. Is that skip numbers? Was that 12?
Yeah.
13. Monster Mutt. This is the second time we're seeing Monster Mutt now. Last Hot Wheels episode, we discussed this kind of weird split between hairless Monster Mutt and then hair Monster Mutt. They went with hair Monster Mutt, thankfully, for the rest of the series that involve Monster Mutt. So you can see this is just the same Monster Mutt as we had last time. Big hubbed edition of it. Nothing changes with Monster Mutt until Charlie Pocken wins the World Championship. So same thing going on, 3D ears, that whole deal. So Phil, if you have anything else to add on the Monster Mutt scene after this point, I don't think so. But RJ, please, you never talked about Monster Mutt yet.
No, I mean, it's who let the dogs out. It's Monster Mutt with hair this time. It's not the mustard one. It's the correct or accurate one at the time. So if you didn't happen to find a hair one, which you should have, but if you didn't, there you go. And
yeah.
Big hub.
We'll see a new edition of Monster Mutt a couple years down the road, which will be Dalmatian. But Monster Mutt, for the most part, stays the same throughout the years. No variations, no changes, just the same old thing. So there's Monster Mutt, number 13. And another one that stays the same throughout the years for a long time is Maximum Destruction. Again, still having an identity crisis with the logo. They get it right, and they don't get it right, then they get it right, then they don't get it right. In this case, they still did not get it right. So there's the casting. I don't know if they changed it.
Yeah, Phil says 3-time world champion on the roof. At this time, Tom is a 6-time champion. So I don't know what that's all about. But
well, I still don't know what that casting is all about either. Now that we're this far into the series, but it's still running that curved, futuristic SUV render or sketch body as the proudly displayed picture completely changes the outlook of what the truck's supposed to look like versus what it does in Hot Wheels. But oh well. RJ, do you have any comments on this casting or anything?
Oh no, you're good. I mean, you guys, it drove me crazy even when they made the tilt, which isn't out yet, but how did we not fix this mold? But I mean, hey, another Max D.
The tilt one's even weirder. We'll get to it.
I know. What color is this, and why is this?
Or 2 episodes there, but here's an interesting footnote. This is the last time you can get the normal looking maximum destruction until 2009.
Wow. Is it because the red one comes in, right?
So next in 2006, we don't see a maximum destruction, which is insane. These are 6-time. These times.
I had that problem growing up. I'm pretty sure now, thinking on that, I couldn't find one in 05, and then in 06, I'm like, where are the maximum?
You don't get one, and then 2007 and 8, and for a good chunk of 2009, you just get a red one, which we'll talk about when we get to 2007. But imagine being a kid.
Yeah.
For such a gap.
Yeah.
By the time you get a gray Max D, he's got like 25 championships. I don't know what was. That's one of the most mind-boggling decisions. I don't know why. I get why we changed the color, but how do we not even get one? How do we not get one in 2006? I don't understand.
I agree.
This isn't like Maniac or like Maximum Destruction. It's the most pop.
It blew my mind too, so don't feel bad. Back in the day for sure.
Yeah, so that was an interesting decision for poor old Max D. But now number 15, as we just talked about, for whatever reason, Bounty Hunter receives the updated tooling with the updated paint scheme, which is fabulous. It's beautiful. It's almost a perfect match to the real truck. The color as well, the blue color they chose, is a perfect match. And Scarlet Bandit's left in the dust with nothing of the sort of an update, but you can see this is the official update to Bounty Hunter with everything that it was running at the time, headlights even added on there, and it looks amazing. It also has window printing, which we did see with King Crunch one time before. You'll see it a couple more times, but very, very rarely used. But it's still really cool to see window printing. So that old sponsorship still obviously proud on that truck. That's all I have to say about it. Phil, Bounty Hunter, new casting, all that stuff.
This thing is so hyper detailed, and it's such a shame Scarlet can't have the same love. But this is really, when Jimmy he finally gets that he gets his first world championship there in freestyle, and this same year, and it's an important one to have. It's accurate to a T, and it's so much detail on this. It's almost as if it was like written in the contract. Like, I need every sponsor in this place. I need all the lights. I need the window printing. It's like it's on point. It's like it's too good almost with the amount of detail on this.
Yeah, this one was a good truck. So well accurately done that. And if you had this one next to Scarlet Bandit in the Carpet League Monster Truck series, you had to make up a storyline of why Scarlet Bandit's body wasn't the same as Bounty Hunter's for sure.
And why you can't have an Iron Outlaw.
Oh, yeah. That comes later on. But
we never get OG Iron Outlaw, which debuts in this time frame. So that's another missed opportunity. So it's like we get detailed Bounty Hunter, we get a thrown together Scarlet Bandit, and no attention for Iron Outlaw. And it's in its prime Lindsay Wink dominating years. So it is what it is. Bounty Hunter rules.
Number 15, Bounty Hunter. And on to number 16, which is Clydesdale, an independent truck. I don't know if the real life truck ran this. Okay, it's Hot Wheels original scheme of Clydesdale. You'll actually see it again in the plastic base era. But it's a classic. I mean, I remember getting this truck. I do recall many years of it being displayed on my shelves on the front because I actually really liked this scheme. WWE 5155, who is less involved in the community now. This is a very famous truck in his sign-up series, which was a thing on YouTube. But it's a truck with a lot of history inside the community as an independent and all over the place. So a very classic truck here for this release. Again, a Hot Wheels original edition of it, but it is nice to have this independent sponsored through this truck. So Phil, if you have the actual Clydesdale information, please.
Well, Bennett Clark's one of the most classic throwback drivers. Even now today, has such a folklore. The guy was out there in the cowboy hat, and he had the had the funky mustache, and the real truck was white, and that's why I was kind of like, is this a real scheme? Is it not? It's not. But it's kind of in the same vein because it's a white scheme with just some different graphics. So it's not like a lost art with maybe somebody's other Hot Wheels turned paint scheme trucks where they look absolutely nothing like the real thing. Clydesdale's at least the same color and it kind of has the same theme. So we never get an accurate Clydesdale, but up until that random classic, this is the one chance to get Clydesdale. Another one that was in 2005 that just don't make any sense, where you get it once and you better get it, otherwise it's gone.
Yep. Question, Phil, what do you think? Are we going for like a dragon horse here on the side? What are they going after here?
Man, he's dropping lines. So you're looking at this Clydesdale. Yeah, I'd have to say so. And maybe get a better to look at this roof one. Yeah, he's got some flames going on here. Fire Pegasus. I don't know what the heck's going on. I mean, anatomy of horses and stuff. So
they were keeping the Clydesdale theme there. They just put their spin on it to where, like you said, a lot of these other trucks, they completely went off script and just trashed the whole thing and did it their way with a completely different way of going about it. This one, there's at least some connection there. Was a good one in the Carpet League Monster Trucks for many, I'm sure. Was one for mine. Certainly.
Yeah, so that is number 16, the Clydesdale original release of it. And next up is the Return of the Turtles. This is one of 4. I think this year all of them get released. So the release of the Big Hub edition of the purple Donatello. And as you can see, it has that lavender bandana. I'm not quite sure if that's accurate to the actual turtles in the TV show. I feel like it is because it would be an odd choice to do such a bright purple color, but it's been a long time since I've watched TMNT. But you can see on the actual card art, they did a poor job of photoshopping. It's blue. It's actually, it's not right. So you can see that Leonardo edition of the truck, which did not run in real life anyway, is on the card again. But also it's important to note that they're still doing that differentiated paint. So you have 2 different paint tones as well as a different rim color for each turtle to match the body. So it's very cool that they're continuing to do this. That is the Donatello edition. Phil, again, I don't think there's much to talk about with this one. And RJ,
this is the year to get all your turtles. We get all 4. It's the only year all 4 come out, and they're all kind of uniform. Like they got the same, like it's not one small rims, one's plastic, one's advanced auto parts. Like this is the year you got to get your turtles. All 4 are out here, and they're just as hard to find then as they are now.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, just another turtle. For sure.
All right, so that's the first turtle you'll see of the 4 this episode. Donatello, which, by the way, guys, I know all my turtles now, so for those complaining last time, I'll get it right this time. Number 18, one of my absolute favorite 3D castings of the Hot Wheels Monster Jam era, which is Primeval. It's such a shame they never did anything with this truck in real life or made more of it or brought it back in Hot Wheels Monster Trucks yet. I loved this idea. So obviously Prime meaning primates. This appears to be some kind of gorilla with just this awesome 3D casting. Very out there. It's just like, we don't really see these 3D face customs or like Zombie or Pirate's Curse or those things or animals with a full 3D body until our modern time in Monster Jam now. So they were really thinking outside the box with this one. This is kind of a precursor to what we do receive in the future. El Diablo can be tossed in that category too. This is obviously not that detailed, but it is of the first ever 3D bodies. I guess besides Wild Thing, you would consider that kind of similar to this, but you're not seeing many of these ideas popping up until now. So Primeval was ahead of its time. And I loved this paint scheme and everything to do with it. So there's Primeval. Phil, again, I don't think, there's not much.
This thing's like a platypus on a roof rack. Like, it's so goofy. Like, first of all, for the longest time, I had no idea this was like based off of an ape. I thought this was like a mole.
Oh, okay.
I was like, and it wasn't until I saw the 124. I was like, okay, now I kind of understand what's going on here. And if you are a 124 collector, there is actually sidebar. 2004 is when the 124 line starts. 2005, they do make a Primeval 124, and there actually is 2 variants. One has like red shocks, one has chrome shocks. Random nerd stuff, but like they put this thing's so absurd. Why do we have this and we never see it again? Like at least some. I think all the other castings we see in some form. We like they put this mole on a chassis and we never see it again. Like I don't. Whoever was in charge of the toy line in 2005 was like some sick person that's like into like gore and horror and monkeys. Like I don't know what's going on in 2005. Like the fans are like, can you make Obsession or King Crunch? It's like I'm a monkey. Like I don't know what's going on here.
The clown's also in that mix of things.
Yeah, clown and monkeys walked into the arena. Like Jesus, Murphy. Go ahead, RJ. I'm sorry.
Yeah, RJ, go ahead.
You're just dogging on it. And I was gonna say this is one of my like more favorited trucks, more old trucks that I remember. Right off the bat, I was like, "Oh, it's a gorilla, or maybe it's a mole." Definitely didn't think it was a mole, but it's in my top 5 for sure. Of wish they would bring it back because again, waste of mold. You only used it one time. Very strange.
This is what I mean. It's like the budget. It's like. We could have made so many other things, and it's like, how about a monkey? Like, well, imagine if this happened in like the mid 2000s, or mid 2010s, excuse me, where it was like, hey, you either get higher education or Spider-Man. It's like, sorry, folks, we made a monkey instead. Like, what the? Come on, I don't. Did Monster Jam like have no support in this line that year? Like, Clear Channel, Live Nation, whoever under the sun was just like, I don't know, make some monkey, so you don't care.
Well, do you think it's them trying to go after the Muscle Machine?
I'll be right back.
Well, I don't know, like going after Muscle Machines, because Muscle Machines, we'll talk about next week. The 2005 line for Muscle Machines was like
was
a cloudy day in the park. It wasn't very exciting, so I don't know. It's like Hot Wheels had way too much creative liberty here. Trust me, I like Primeval, but it's like
no, I agree with what you're saying. I like it, but it's one of those why.
I'm talking with my hands. It's because I'm Italian. Trust me, I'm calm. So it's
with my hands.
I'm calm. Don't worry. It's just it's so goofy. So yeah, that's Primeval. I don't hate monkeys. Let's move on to the next.
Actually, before we move on, go back to it real quick. The
please.
The Rev Treads, which is the rendering you're seeing there that they pulled it off of.
Oh yeah, let's look at that rendering. We didn't look at it.
Yeah, the Rev Treads is actually much more detailed than the 164 scale. It actually has much better teeth. It has gums. It has a better head mold. So there's a lot of detail that lacks between the Rev Tread and this scale. I'm sure the 124 scale has the more detailed body as well. So you can't judge it from this edition. I'd say look at the Rev Treads, but you're probably still going to call it silly. So anyway, I personally loved Primeval. I'm glad RJ agreed with that opinion. Phil went off on a tangent about it, but
you don't like monkeys, clowns, studios, nothing.
Man, I don't know. Was Powerpuffs on at this time? Is this like a Mojo Jojo?
Oh, true.
Something. You know what? Let's move on to the next truck.
Yeah, next. Number 19, Reptoid.
Jim Jack, Reptoid.
The new Reptoid, the new look.
So this is Reptoid, the new paint scheme for it. Returning that mold. Great use again of when we talk about budgets and stuff. This is a great return to a truck that they made back in 2001. So this has been a long time in the making here with this updated Reptoid scheme. We will see this Reptoid scheme used in many different years, which is nice to have this truck represented so much. Unfortunately, it does fall off when the truck kind of retires and then comes back, but doesn't come back ever into die-cast form. But you can see there it is with that same roll cage casting to have the teeth on it, which is one of the only modified roll cages for an independent ever. So it's a really cool paint scheme, very accurate to my knowledge to the real truck. And that is the new Reptoid. So Phil, if you want to chime in on the new paint scheme and what happened there with Jim Jack.
Oh, well, after he got off the van stack, he got a new paint scheme here. So I tell you, this is accurate.
Hey, Vans ain't.
Okay, this is accurate. This is accurate.
This is a more accurate Reptoid. Yes. The buses or the van is not included, but it is a tour accurate Reptoid for sure.
Yeah, we got to move on.
Yeah, that's number 20.
Really terrible.
Number 20. Keep going.
Hey, okay, we have variations.
Variations. Great. What a way to pivot. Number 20, Blue Thunder returning with that weird thing going on where it doesn't have the forward thing and doesn't have the forward, then does and doesn't. So here we are again without the Ford Built Ford Tough emblem thing, logo, whatever you want to call it. This is the first time we're seeing the introduction of the extended cab into the line. And so far up to this point, we had this really thin singular cab, as you can see there above the T in Blue Thunder. It is a very thin cab. So welcome to the world of, we're going to see at this episode, one of the toughest variations to find because of this. But this is Blue Thunder. There is the roof there. You're going to see an expanded roof because of that addition of the cab there in just a moment. So let's change over real quick before we get opinions on this to the new variation. And you're also going to notice a difference in the casting work of the front grille. But here's the new variation. You can see it has a window now. We call it the King Cab, Extended Cab, whatever you choose. I use both interchangeably. But this is Blue Thunder with the new tooling now introduced into the line, and will be used until Hot Wheels goes into the new casting, which they still use extended cabs for. So you can see the tailgate not so much modified, but the front grille, very modified. You can tell that doesn't have that grate. It has these slits now. So that's a very easy way to tell if you have only a front-facing view of a variation, to know if you have an extended cab or if you have a single cab. For whatever reason, they didn't match them together, but it helps variation collectors, I guess, in the end. So there is the new Blue Thunder. Again, using that same paint scheme without the Built Ford Tough. The roof is very noticeable. The difference in the roof sizing is very noticeable. Yeah. So Phil, if you want to add to Blue Thunder, and then RJ, go ahead.
Yeah, but all this, you said it with the casting. This has really become the the Ford pickup truck we know and love, because we get a Chevy one later on.
Yeah.
Chevy's already in there. Excuse me. I don't know why we move away from we update the castings here, especially a running change like this, which could be such a headache when you're going for variations and stuff. It's like now you got to get all these different versions. So it's kind of a bummer there, but I guess it's a needed change. It's a little more universal where they make this pickup truck where if it's more visually appealing when you kind of do other trucks that you can do that. So one thing I don't know if this is on some of the other Blue Thunders, this Monster Jam logo on here is just so huge. It's really big. I think it's like more noticeable on the shorter cab. It's like Monster Jam. There it is. So
it's more noticeable on the small hub edition of that 6-pack variation. It's huge. So
that's Blue Thunder. What do you got, RJ?
Oh, hey, that's Blue Thunder, the big blue Ford. I mean, the Lightning Bolt, big blue Ford.
Hardy har har.
Okay, next up, number 21. Here we go. Back to the clowns. Again, take a moment to realize how terrifying these paint schemes are, please, for the kid audience that you're selling these to. This is one, I say this every time, but this is one of my favorites of all Hot Wheels Monster Jam. I love the colors. I love the idea. When you think about it, Chill Out, I think since we're going off dark humor, we have these really creepy looking horror show clowns. I think it means chill out as in like preserving a body after death
yeah.
Okay,
so,
wow, all right.
You know, that's what they're going off of here with this delivery truck. So
zoom in so I can see how scary they actually are.
Man, now you're making this look all altered meanings here. So I always just looked at it as an ice cream truck, and they had some clowns out there.
Nope. So the back doors are the doors to the
body.
Yeah, the body. So we never established ourselves as a PG show. I'm trying to stay within those parameters, but yeah, that's where the bodies would be. That's exactly. There's no arguing that those are doors to a freezer for bodies, and that's the point of this truck. Chill Out. So yeah, it's another very dark humor truck here, but
man, I love really ruining it for me. I didn't.
Sorry to ruin your experience of your childhood.
Clowns for me, please, if you don't mind.
But hey, this is a first time casting. This is actually, I really like this casting. This is like pseudo based off of a Hot Wheels car. This is a casting. We need to see more of in Hot Wheels monster trucks. I think this casting is so cool.
Yep.
We only see this casting used 2 other times. One next year and one in 2011.
3 times.
Or yeah. So
Iron Man, special delivery, and SWAT. Those are the 3.
Special delivery is dairy delivery.
Oh yeah.
You get Covert Crasher.
Oh, Covert Crasher. I'm thinking of 2 different things. Yeah, you're right. But yes, I agree with this. It's a
Like,
cool
really cool, and SWAT's probably the favorite out of the 3. But another fun one here. Look at the render on this. It's kind of like until Ryan kind of got dark on us. This is like precursor Ice Cream Man.
Yeah.
Kind of. If you look at it from an ice cream standpoint, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I didn't mean to go dark, but if you never noticed those back doors before, now you do.
I don't know, man. Like, I know I'm old. I've seen like the Good Humor truck used to come through my neighborhood, and like I'd see the doors like that on the back, and the Good Humor Man would be out there, playing his songs and stuff. So I don't know, man. I think you've been watching too many like HLN or something. You gotta.
They have a truck called Cremator in the line, Phil. This is what it is. For some reason, they decided to go mortuary with us on this year, but it is what it is.
That is 2005. You got Van Helsing's the year before, and Muscle Machine. RJ, what do you have to say here?
Oh, that's nothing. That's it. I'll just go ahead. Like, yeah, you're right. You have that the year before. You have this now. You have all this darkness that's in Mattel somehow.
Zoom in on that cherry for me. It looks like that nose from Chill Out or Clown Town.
You can zoom in on it if you want, so I can see it better. Okay, yeah.
Kind of.
Oh no, it kind of is, but it's like making a different thing.
I bet somebody's got some fanfic. Like, it starts with Chill Out, then it takes you to Clown Town, and it ends at Cremator.
Yeah, we have a whole lore going on here with this, but I like that they can take such a dark truck and make it so kind of kid friendly with the ice cream theme, but also very scary with these creepy decaying clowns and this ice cream with a smiling cherry on it. Just a really creative person. Whoever made these had a.
That's what subliminal imaging is all about, Ryan. Have you ever seen the movie They Live?
I have not seen that one.
Roddy Piper?
No, I did. Oh wait, yes, I did. That's the one with the glasses and stuff, right?
Yeah, Nada with the glasses. You choose bubblegum stuff. Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's just an interesting a year for Hot Wheels. You never see a year like this again in Hot Wheels Monster Jam, probably for good reason.
Puberty or something. I don't know what. This is awkward years.
It's like they gave the guy the keys to the candy shop and let him go crazy with his crazy ideas. But it's one of my favorites. I love the colors. I love the idea. Being grown up now and understanding more about life and death and the things in between, and like this mortuary style truck. It's really cool. I mean, for kids, they probably won't understand it, but this is a really cool truck, and the way they connected so many different themes into one place. But again,
yeah. To just to quote my my buddy, the 4-time triple threat champion, "Lady, you're scaring us."
Anyway, next up, number 22, I believe, Wise Guy. So, this is a very creative use of Hulk, the Hulk casting. Last time you're ever going to see Hulk casting used. So we saw Hulk a couple years, I think 2 years in a row or whatever it was, and then we got Wise Guy, which I don't really actually another dark theme because Mafia, and you can see the bullet holes on the side.
Yeah. You don't talk about the Mafia, okay?
Yeah, we don't discuss.
Yeah.
I mean,
my last name ends in a vowel. You better watch what you say.
For a reason.
Anyway, it's related to something that I won't reference anymore because of Warfield, but another dark theme, bullet hole ridden truck. It has that nice pinstriped suit on with that smiling face on the front, and of course our very mysterious man on the roof. Also very interesting color choice, purple with this kind of monochrome theme here. So it's just again, fitting right in with it. I mean, Chill Out, Clown Town, Cremator, Wise Guy, just really odd stuff happening here with this darkness. But I like this one. I don't like it over Hulk, I got to be honest. But thinking back on it, this really has ruined my childhood, thinking back on these now, coming back to them in this way. But Wise Guy, Phil, please.
Yeah,
if you can talk about it, talk about it.
I can't. I'll tell you what I know. Otherwise, I got to kill you. So, this it's you said it best. This is such a creative use of the casting, and that was always the handicap. I think we might have talked about it when we were talking about the Hulk cast when the Hulk was introduced. It's such a cool casting, but it's at a handicap because they do a good job at it, but there's like veins on this truck that are just bulging it through. Like you're like ignore the veins. Here's some bullet holes. You got the goofy smile in the front because you remember the Hulk truck has the smile looking at you like Hulk smash. There ain't nobody smiling like this if you're a Wise Guy. So it's kind of cryptic in that way too, where it's like another meaning behind this, like, and that's why you don't see his face. He's like, it's like you got Dick Tracy over here with no eyeballs. It's he's given a little. He's got a lot to offer here, and he's gonna make it something he can't refuse. So. I'm
hearing like in my head, I'm hearing this New Yorker 1960s, like that accent that they had. I can't say who the people were because poor Phil, but like a wise guy, like kind of like, oh, you're a wise guy, kind of thing. So that actually, I guess Phil, you would agree, an Italian kind of accent for the 1960s, that wise guy. So very connective, very creative.
You know nothing. You don't say nothing. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, RJ, with the outside perspective of this, go ahead.
They got wise guys in Oklahoma.
Huh?
They got wise guys in Oklahoma.
Sure, I'm sure. Yeah, maybe. Know what you say and say what you know. This one is. I mean, you think about they got clowns, cremators. What else we got in here?
Wise guys, monkeys.
Wise guys.
And now you have wise guys. You got to have somebody to come clean the clowns out. I mean, that could have been a way they're looking at it. Could be its own truck in and of itself. I liked it. It's one of the another top fiver for sure that I wish they'd bring back. Maybe with a different cast or just do this one different. Probably.
They never found Jimmy Hoffa.
Hey, there you go.
The Irishman was a great movie. And this relates right to it. So anyway, next up, moving on to our next, I'm sure, gory, weird. Oh, it is. Okay. Our next weird truck.
The guy taking you there.
Yeah. So another hearse body. I think there's 3 this year. This is the Eliminator. 2. Okay, never mind. 2 this year. This is the Eliminator. So I don't know if it's supposed to be a limo. I guess maybe a limo for a body. Another dark humor truck here. Because it's not a limo, but limo is featured in the name. That's clearly not how you spell
Eliminator, but he's there to eliminate.
Yeah, I don't.
Man.
So anyway, it's transporting the body. It's a limo for a body. Hearse casting. It has this gray, very interesting color choice. It's almost like ashes, really, if you think about it. The color, this matte color that they chose for this bright gray.
I like the matte. Like that's kind of different.
Yeah, but it's just so dark. If you really start digging into it, and we might be going too far with it, but if you dig into what you really think this means, which I think this is what it means, and the flames and it relating to the cremator, it's just another dark one. But I like it. I don't like it as much as cremator though. This one kind of simple, whatever. But just another hearse body, another dark humor. So anyway, Phil, your 2 cents.
No.
Okay, RJ, your 2 cents.
I mean, what is there to talk about? You got a driver that's on the roof with some flames. Is he taking the bodies to the cremator?
Man, you guys really know how to kill the town here. I tell you.
Hey, it wasn't us that created this line in 2005, Phil. But we're now back again, revisiting our childhoods and thinking, wow, 2005 was really messed up. So anyway, 2005, everyone. Eliminator. Next up on our list is number 23 or 4. We'll keep going.
What's up with Totosaurus Rex, buddy?
There's no lore behind this one, thankfully. This is just another independent, one of the more popular ones that have existed in Hot Wheels Monstrium form. The only time you'll ever see this truck is this year and it's fabulous. Not perfect, but it's very nice to see with this release. So there it is, the Torosaurus Rex on the Willys body. Again, not perfectly accurate in terms of casting, but the colors, the choice, I don't know if the front grill is accurate, but the flame pattern, all that stuff was really nice. So there is that. Phil, tell us all about this truck and its lifetime.
Well, it's a good call, really working with what you have with the tooling. Like, you're not making a perfect body, but you could do something with the Willys, and it's pretty clever here. This one was really sought after because it is a real truck, and Jeff Bursey is really one of those folk heroes of monster trucks. I'm just still kicking it. Like, Jeff's such an interesting guy. If you ever get a chance to meet him, he's really got some great stories. But like, there's shows out there where he'll drive, build the track, run the recovery vehicle, announce, and sell T-shirts all at the same time. Like, he's a jack of all trades, and he's got such a history to prove it. And I think that's why a lot of people really want this truck to go back, because when they learn more about a guy like Jeff Bursey and Torosaurus Rex, it's like, man, this guy's really cool, and he's really one of like a breed gone from years past. You don't see a lot of Jeff Burseys in monster trucks these days, and Jeff's still out there with Torosaurus. And it's a shame Torosaurus had a lot of different looks over the years. Like, he ran a red scheme and a black scheme, and then he ran Jethro Toe, and then he ran a Toe Mater under the radar. So it'd be super cool if we got more Torosauruses, but we get the white one here. You work with what you have. It works pretty well. And before I cut into RJ here, see a comment on here. Is this podcast also on Google Podcasts? Yes, it is. We're on a lot of different platforms here. Not all of them, but all the major ones: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, if you want to hear the audio.
No, I mean, this one, you said it best. There's not much more I need to add on. Great truck. Glad I had a couple of them, quite a few of them. For whatever reason, I found about 3 of them for sure. Definitely have them somewhere around here. Good truck glad I have in my collection for sure.
Yeah, it's another one that's worth a lot too. I mean, if you got a Torosaurus, I don't know what you paid. If you got a good deal on it, hats off to you, man.
Yeah.
So next up, number 25, Beast. So fun fact, this is actually my dad's favorite truck of our collection. Always has been, always, and never has changed. So this is not fully accurate either, Phil, right? In terms of...
So I'll give the story. It's another one of the Jack Coburna specials. If you caught our episodes a couple weeks back when we talked about the Monster Bus and Surf Monster, those are all Jack Coburna trucks. This was like Jack's truck, where it was like a mud truck, but then he ran the body on a race truck at some times. And it's not accurate totally. Like the name on the side, that's the right name. Mm-hmm. But the truck never ran flames. It was an all yellow body that, man, I don't even know the body style on it. It definitely wasn't an SUV, but it's another one of those cases where you use the casting what you have, and then obviously Hot Wheels took their spin on it. They gave it an orange chassis and some flames, and they made it a little more fun.
Well, it makes sense. They wouldn't want to release just a plain yellow truck to the world.
Yeah, a lot of the dots on the back here, that's really was like a feature on the back of the Beast here. So that's why you see the overlap, like the black on black windows there. It's kind of weird, but it's kind of a tip of the hat to the actual Beast truck that was around.
Yep.
Yeah. Like I said, my dad's favorite, not my favorite, but I remember him very happily picking this one up and having it as his favorite. So yeah, Jack Coburna, another one of them. And, nice to see Hot Wheels at least kind of adding some substance to this truck. Plain yellow truck would not have worked well on the pegs, but very cool. Nice independent to have. RJ, please.
No, I was just going to say good truck. I have it autographed by the Hall of Famer himself, maybe over there. I know I got a bunch of his trucks autographed from him, so another solid truck for the Hall of Famer, no doubt.
You won't see a Coburna truck in 2006, right? So we got a couple more in 2007 and so forth, but
yeah,
nice one to have a Beast, and another one the Hot Wheels put their touch on.
Another independent starting up here. This is Bad News Travels Fast. You're going to see this for years to come, and still in Spin Master we have it. This is my favorite paint scheme of all time so far, which is the red classic scheme with this highly detailed, just really cool comic book style scheme. You can see it's half red, half black. They do a mixture of the paint. Actually, did we introduce this last episode?
Yes.
Okay, I felt like I already talked about this before, but it is still my favorite scheme. Not introducing this, it's just a repeat, actually. So we've already talked about it. RJ, if you want to add your opinion on that.
No, when it came out, when it debuted in the toy, it was a must-have the year previous. If you didn't get it then, you can get it now, for sure.
Yeah, and this is actually, this is a Hot Wheels design scheme. This is actually the last time you can get this in toy form because we don't see this for the next 2 years. And in 2008, we get the new orange scheme. So for kind of weird, you think with Hot Wheels designing it, you get it a couple more times. But
yeah.
So
yeah. So there it is. Bad news. Again, I felt like deja vu was happening. It was. So Batman, nothing new about it. Just an actual blatant repeat from last year. So there it is again, the same hubs insert thing going on there. Nothing new about it. But that's Batman.
Yep.
Oh, so before we proceed here, we got some number overlap. So number 27 was Batman, and now we move on to number 27. Sudden Impact, which has 3 variations, all on the truck. So
great. So let's jump into the first one, which is a Ford grille variation on the single cab. So the short cab or whatever you want to call it. So let's take a look at the front grille, just real quick to get that out of the way. There's that Ford, and let's go to the other variation, and we'll start talking about the scheme. So there's that little Ford emblem, and here is it.
So this is the same tooling, no Ford emblem.
Yep. So there it is. So anyway, this scheme is a really cool one. It has a split thing going on with it. But this is the 3rd variation of the casting. This is the extended cab edition. So you're going to see a lot of these happening this year. So if you're a variation collector, this is the thing that drove me crazy, trying to find all these. So I understand the pain of that one for sure. So there is the roof extension. If we look at the paint color, I love this deep sea blue with yellow paint at the bottom to taper into the front bumper area. So it's a really cool scheme of Sudden Impact, and I really enjoy this one. It's a big part of my childhood, especially. So there it is. Also, a special feature of it, those stars, I believe, are reflective silver, which is a little Easter egg that Hot Wheels is going to start doing from this year moving forward on very specific and very few trucks. For instance, one that I can pull off the top of my head is Screaming Demon from 2015 or 14 has it on the tailgate. Bulldozer from 2015 has it on the tailgate as well. The Bulldozer logo is reflective silver. So this is the start of that reflective silver Easter egg, and that's one of the trucks this year, 2 which have it. It features that. So Phil, take it away on Sudden Impact.
Yeah, no, I mean, we get a Sudden Impact in 2001 or so, and then we don't get one for a bit. So nice to see back. I saw a comment there from Dustin Spallone there saying that the 27 is kind of like the John Seasock number because John Seasock would later drive Batman. Seasock in one number. John is very much associated with Sudden Impact because he was the owner at the original owner or of this before he sold to Brandon Lagarde. I can't say original because, anyways, yeah, this is a cool scheme. It's great to see here. Sudden Impacts ran a lot of different variant schemes. We get a good chunk of them. So this one's nice to see. This is the only shot we get. So even though there's 3 of those pesky tooling variations, only time you can get this scheme is this year. Again, living up to 2005. One shot and that's it. So really has more to talk about. It's really a motto of current Spin Master where it's they never make the same truck twice. 2005 really almost in the same spirit where outside of a handful, this only year you can get a lot of these schemes and tools.
Yeah.
What do you say, RJ?
Oh, I'm letting you go, Captain. No, good stuff. Bright colors for sure. Love the blue.
Oh, he went a little quiet there. I like how it faded off too. It was I think.
Can you hear me?
There we go. Yeah, we can hear you
now. No, I was just gonna say it's a very vibrant, colored truck. Like the bright colors, like Phil does. This one popped on the toy aisle back in the day for sure. It was a must-have.
I just saw another Astrovan.
Uh-oh.
Here we go again.
Number 28.
Oh, there it is.
So another Hot Wheels original, another terrifying paint scheme. If we think about it, again, ruining our childhoods. So look at this thing. Yeah, this is no way you can argue that this is a kid-friendly looking truck. It has blood on its, or looked like blood on its teeth. It's like
this is Fangora.
It's like this wolf bat thing. I like Fangora, but it's just a weird one, and it's on the Astro Van Tolian, which is fine because it doesn't really matter which Tolian it's on. But it's just one of those creepy ones. I liked the color choices, though. I love this purple, red, black, and silver. Very complimentary of all the colors on this scheme. But Fangora is just one of those weird originals in a weird year where there's a bunch of different weird originals. So, it fits right in. It's not like this is just unexpected. It's expected at this point in 2005. So, Phil and RJ, you guys take it away on this one. That's all I got to say.
Okay. If there's somebody watching this that was part of putting together the 2005 line, we mean this with much love and dead serious. We want to talk with you and really dissect kind of the thought process of scaring children in 2005.
What's going on?
We mean that with much love. It's been 15 years at the time we're recording this. Statute limitations are over. We really want to pick your brain, and that's what I have to say at this time.
We want to know if you're okay.
Accurate.
Because this stuff is pretty.
I'm not kidding. I really, if you don't have something to do with this 2005.
Yeah, we do. I'd love to come back to 2005 and have a discussion with the design team or designer.
I need answers. RJ, do you know what's going on here, Fangora?
No, I still have it to this day though. I saw it today. But it's crazy. Looking back on all these years later, it's just crazy.
So we get all these horror trucks, and a good point is to be made. Gravedigger is a skull and crossbones, flying a Jolly Roger. It's a graveyard. It's not friendly either, but it's almost as if like somebody got on the line here, and it's like, all right, Gravedigger is popular truck. One of the if not the most popular monster trucks of all time. What makes it so popular? It's got to be the spooky paint job in the graveyard. So what do we need to do? We're going to make our own trucks and scare people.
Got a point.
Because they love Gravedigger. They will love Chill Out with a horrible double meeting. Wise Guy, which you can't talk about. Fangora with some blood.
Clown Town.
An Eliminator taking you on the last ride.
Cremator.
And a monkey.
Okay, the monkey had nothing to do with this. Leave Primeval out of this.
No, he's Primeval. He's big boy. He's gonna.
Titus has a battle axe on it. Let's go back.
I guess we didn't talk about Titus and the battle axe and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Titus is like the normal cousin at the end of the table.
This is a pretty interesting year, and we're going to come back to it at the end here. I want to look at all of the different ones all together and think about everything we've discussed, but we'll come back to it. I also want to mention that I agree with the Gravedigger statement. I think it. As time goes on, and obviously it's a classic, you can't really get rid of it. It's so popular that you can't hide that horror film kind of thing going on with it. It's kind of adopted this idea of just being a truck. I don't think I've ever been scared of a Gravedigger paint scheme except for the roof ghost. When they had that roof ghost thing, that was a pretty scary one. There's never been a really time that I felt scared, even as a kid, by Gravedigger, and I can understand how some kids feel different. But if we look at Spin Master this year in 2020, and we look at their zombie invasion series, you have Pirate's Curse with blood, like it just bit someone's face off. You have Monster Mutt with like this rabid dog. All three Monster Mutts, really. You have, even now in modern Monster Jam, even outside of the zombie invasion series, you have Zombie. You have El Diablo. So there's been kind of times where we kind of dip back into this kind of tied to horror films.
But it's kind of tangent on that too, is that the commercialization of the zombie brand and truck at this point is such like a friendly tease. So when the truck first was out there with face paint and everything.
Eye contact with the white eyes.
Yeah, like he was out there to scare you. But second Bari kind of got in there too. You put up your zombie arm. So instead of being scared by the zombie, now they got the kids flopping their hands in the air like going out of style. So
this has been the most hilarious episode ever.
it's not so scary anymore. It's like, oh, the zombie's there. He's smiling at me. And he's like Kermit the Frog. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is funny how they did, and this is totally not in this year. This is years down the line. But just to cap off that horror talk, it's funny how they did modify Zombie from that original paint scheme, which was very detailed, gruesome, and gory, which I actually preferred because it was actually a nicer looking paint scheme with all the airbrush detail, to a more subtle zombie. They don't have the blood on the tires. They don't have the tie. They don't. Well, the tie is just a different deal. But the sores and stuff on the zombie are much more subtle now. And like you said, Bari introduced a new character into the truck. Sean was there to be a zombie, like The Walking Dead. Bari is a soft-hearted guy, and I love Bari. He brought a friendly character to the truck. But regardless, it's still funny how that horror style genre is coming back into Monster Jam again, and it fluctuates over time. But 2005 is the ultimate cap, and this is we're talking about trucks that aren't in the circuit either. These are just toys, and now we have them inside the circuit. But anyway, let's go into number.
Casper was a friendly ghost. Okay, we're moving on to another variant truck. It's the Broker,
another horror show truck. So here we go.
Okay, this gets a pass.
Yeah, no, it's a great independent. I love the colors. I've always loved the roll cage color that they chose. It's copper color. So the Broker, a real life independent. You see it again one more time, whatever it is, in the future with a new scheme. This is the only time you're going to see this paint scheme, the blue and copper. But just an awesome truck. So this is the single cab, as you can see. And next up is the extended cab. When Phil switches it, we'll look at that. So you can see there's the extended cab edition. Nothing changed on the decals or decal-wise. But I really like the Broker. Really cool truck, and it fits right in with 2005. Really, it's at home here.
Is that a Rap Attack on the edit or the render? I mean, sorry.
Yeah, that is most definitely Rap Attack, and Hot Wheels put their design on it. Or the real truck looked like this, by the way. So I don't think Hot Wheels designed this, but yeah, that's definitely Rap Attack edit slap job on here. You know, I'm kind of wondering this. Maybe like they got the approval to Broker, and somebody's like, "Man, I really like the way that skeleton looks on Broker. Let's just put some skin on him and call him Wise Guy."
Hey, true.
Are those not the same people?
Oh yeah, it does look like the same person.
Somebody's overkill. Like, well, we got the Broker, so why don't we just, I don't know, drown everybody with horror?
Anyway, we're going really deep into this.
I don't know what that says. I don't know what it says on the side of Broker here, but this is a cool one to have. It's a real truck. Yep. Fits in with your carpet leak. Maybe not one of the most well-known trucks. It really ran like arenas for like the most part of its career. Jim Leahy and Lou Antonazzi. So, but it's cool to have. It's great to see. And as you mentioned, we do see another scheme of the Broker a couple years down the line.
I'm trying to figure out what it says on the side too, but there's no good photos.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll get you an update.
I'm trying to find it.
That's the Wise Guy. You may know.
So hey, while you're figuring that out, let's take a quick look at number.
Find out.
El Toro Loco.
The as we call it, the cream color rims. Nothing changed about the scheme though, so we can kind of just skip through this one.
Yeah. Except we don't get an El Toro with 2004 big rims, do we? So this is the first time we get.
Yeah, I think it's the first time we're seeing it come back.
So that's cool. Superman's back again.
Nothing.
Same Superman we debuted the year before. Yep. No changes here with Superman, so great to have again. We skipped the number 32, and we move on to number 33 to Gravedigger.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the rendering actually real quick before we go down. So
this render, like, I could.
RJ, your mic again is doing that quiet thing.
Oh,
there you go. Go ahead. Whatever you were saying, go ahead.
No, I was just saying this render is very interesting. Always was to me growing up looking at it. So go ahead.
Yeah, and it's hard to achieve with the time period, I'm sure, and the technology. Hard to achieve a chrome look, but that's a really chrome render look, which is really cool. But like Phil mentioned, last time we saw this weird Grim scheme. It's assumed that Gravedigger was going through identity change from that spooky mountain thing to a more character-driven idea, which is, of course, Neil Vandenberg's illustration of Grim. But it's odd how they changed from the black paint scheme of this to a chrome scheme. You won't see a chrome Gravedigger until Dennis runs it in 2016, 17. Okay, so yeah, you won't see it for years and years down the line, 12 years or so. So I guess the 25th anniversary technically, but it's just still weird how they went with chrome, a Zamac body, bare metal, whatever you want to call it, polished bare metal. I don't know why they would do that. I love this scheme, by the way. I hope Spin Master will reissue this in a 124 and 164, but I totally agree with scrapping this as the new paint scheme. Changing a classic from the 84 scheme to this would have been detrimental. But we still talk about Gravedigger the Legend, which had a purple paint scheme up the pipeline and got cut off halfway through. This would have been the same deal. And I think the backlash from this and outcrying of Gravedigger fans would not have been good. So I love the idea, the take on it, but I do not agree with it ever being an official paint scheme of the official truck. So unless it's like an anniversary scheme, but this is the Gravedigger with the chrome body this time. And Phil, if you want to kind of talk about that, I mean, I kind of covered it.
Yeah, no, but we see, and we do talk about in the 2004 episode when we see the normal black scheme with this design, what it could have been. We get this chrome one for really no reason, but we see this chrome one for a couple number of years. We get it till 2009, I feel like. It's...
Yep.
Broker said, so back to the broker. The broker says on the side, your policy has expired, which is very much in theme. They got the theme right on that truck, so thank you, Toon Raider, for helping us out there. Yeah. But yeah, no, we get this chrome Gravedigger. Do we get it till 2009? I really don't remember.
We get it 2011. 11, yeah, 11. Wow.
Oh, 2011 4-pack?
I have one from 2011, I believe. It has an Advanced Auto Parts logo on it.
So, yeah.
I'll double check while we continue on, but
yeah, that's crazy. Like how we get this chrome version for so many years. It's kind of like we have the Gravedigger mold, and obviously at this time, the Legend and Son of a Digger and all that stuff like didn't really exist yet. So there's really nowhere else to concept Gravedigger. They're like, well, we have this design we were going to do in 2004 on the real truck, and they just keep making it over and over and over. So.
Yeah, so like I said, it was in 2011. It had an Advanced Auto Parts release variation. I actually just got one from a friend of mine.
It's a Four Favorites 4-pack.
Yeah, it's a very tough to come by variation because it was only released in that 4-pack that way. And it also has a new flame pattern. But yeah, this thing was used with that chrome scheme years and years and years. Never became a real truck or became anything more than just a toy form. RJ, go ahead.
No, nothing. I mean, you guys are mainly taking it over solidly. This was a truck that I didn't mind grabbing because, again, it's Gravedigger, and I love the paint scheme on this one and the artwork done to it. It was, I guess, the Encore digger for your carpet leagues, if that's what you wanted to use it for.
Yeah, or like you do in your World Finals. Like, this is the special scheme I do and stuff. So I guess it does have purpose, and it does break up the variations in Gravediggers, so that's nice to see. I'm looking right now at some other pictures of the truck, so that's why I'm zoomed out here if you're watching on the camera. So kind of weird. Just an odd Gravedigger. So there you have that there. Actually, is there an goofy Airborne Ranger in that same 4-pack?
Yes.
That has like the grill is not black.
Yeah, well, for whatever reason, the 124 scale received an updated tooling, which was a really cool, accurate tooling, but the 164 kept that Chevy scheme, and that.
Well, we get a Mutt truck in 2011. The grill is the camo color, but we get a clean one in that 4-pack. Do you have that? Do you get what I'm talking about?
I have a clean one. It came out some other time.
Did it? Okay, well.
Or I bought it off eBay loose. Somehow I have it.
I'm just sidebar. All right, let's move on.
Yeah, sidebar. We don't have time for it.
Hey, speaking of, the next truck is Airborne Ranger.
There you go.
So
we're not off topic.
I think this is the first time we're seeing it since the original release in 2000 whatever.
A refresh scheme, although I still think, I don't know if this is accurate. Yeah, I guess it's accurate to the truck. I don't know. It's kind of an iffy.
This may have been one of their Hot Wheels schemes again, honestly.
Levi's saying it was never real. So
Yeah. Okay.
Hot Wheels original scheme part 25. It's a really cool one though. I love the American flag and the fact that they even brought back Airborne Ranger, which they will do again and again and again. But there it is, Airborne Ranger. Simple.
We got cool details here too, which is super cool.
Yeah.
So,
really simple but nice release here.
Yeah, nice to have an updated Airborne Ranger. So
yeah.
Kudos.
Yeah.
Moving on here, number 35.
I think there's a story to this one, right, Phil?
There's some stories, but I'll let you do your stories first.
Okay, so the first thing is obviously King Bling. I remember getting this one for my birthday, 2010, I think it was. Very specific times. Like I tell you, everything in my collection has a story. Like I see specific things and it rings a bell instantly. This one I remember specifically getting, and I loved this scheme because it reminded me, and we'll come into this in a moment, of an Escalade and an Escalade or whatever you want to call it. It's just a really cool truck. I love the bling. I love the artwork. They really brought out those diamonds in the artwork. I love the blue Hot Wheels logo as well. The silver roll cage also set it off. And if we look at the rest of the scheme here, you can see the back there with the chains. It's unfortunately they couldn't match them up, but they did it that way. And then we have the roof there with that nice, again, bling, that really cool diamond look that it has, and it's just a really cool scheme. So Phil, please let us go ahead.
You did mention it. It does look like an Escalade, which was debuting at this time. We never get an Escalade toy for the very specific studio. Yeah, see, is that what I was talking about, right?
You just found a variation for me, and I don't want to talk to you anymore, Phil.
Oh my God! See, that's a big brain. Okay. Anyways, so an Escalade we never get a toy of, and it's really because of where the name Escalade, which is a type of vehicle from Cadillac, which is a division of General Motors. That's why you never get toys of it. A long-standing rumor is that this was the answer. Like, we can't make an Escalade, so here's King Bling. This rumor lasted a very long time. Like, oh, this is Escalade, but it's King Bling. Which I guess by coincidence, it is a black bling body with a gray chassis, which is what the real truck had, and George Belhan was his persona at that time with the big mohawk and, all black, no crew shirt or nothing. Like, it was really, but the spinners, it lived by that same moniker. I'm here to tell you today, there is zero proof that King Bling is Escalade. It's just a horrible coincidence, maybe inspired, because this is later in the year if they're releasing by numbers, so maybe they did pump this one out real quick as an answer to Escalade, but this doesn't this has no relation to an Escalade, because if it did, how could we get King Bling and from the end of time?
Yeah, I agree, but there was also a rendering, I believe, of Escalade at some point for Hot Wheels. It was not officially deemed Escalade, but there was a rendering of it for 1/24 scale. Don't know if we have that photo, but I have it somewhere. But yeah, it's tough because if you look at the rendering, that looks like the spinners of Escalade to me.
Well, I guess they could use Escalade maybe if that is. It's kind of hard to know. It is though.
It looks like it to me.
I think that's Greg Adams' Eliminator truck in Atlanta going over the buses.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And Eliminator is not even or was it Annihilator at that?
It wasn't an Eliminator. It was something else.
I don't know. So it was, but that truck's not even an SUV. So Hot Wheels made an SUV. If that
but it's funny that they put on specifically a truck with spinners.
Yeah, Adam's truck ran like the chrome hubs.
Yeah.
Anyway, RJ.
I have the truck hanging behind me over my head. It was one of my favorites of that year for sure. So much I found another one and got it. I liked it. I always thought it replaced Escalade in the Carpet Monster Truck Leagues.
Yeah, that's where kind of the lore comes from, because you get this truck, you can make it Escalade. Yeah. So it's not like you can make Primeval like Batman or something like fine. Like, so this is a little easier to fix.
Yeah, and it's also diverting from that horror show theme, but it's also one of the odd ones in the
Well, I
series.
mean, it is, yeah, but
Another new independent, long over, well, not at this point, but for now in modern day, I think Spin Master should do this one long overdue in this modern era. This is Brutus. So Brutus is receiving this 3D scheme, which is Brutus had a basic scheme on the pickup truck casting for a long, or pickup truck tooling or whatever you want to call it, body for a long time. So they introduced this Team Scream Brutus 3D casting. Howard did a pretty decent job of recreating it. They just never got the paint color right. This kind of bright maroon color was not how the real truck looked. It was a really nice brown copper color. But regardless, we got Brutus. We had the blue chassis edition of it, which is nice to have that accuracy. And I thought, for its time and what it became into the more detailed one too, I thought it was pretty good. But again, that brown color always bothered me. It did not look like that in real life, as you can see the picture there. The difference is clear. But anyway, not a bad casting, a very well done casting. But I know modern technology, we could probably do much better now. But
hats off here. This is a spot on casting. Brutus is really on the rise here. This is where we start seeing Brutus run the World Finals with Teammate Avengers. So it's great to have. This is one of the winners of 2005 through all the horror and the fantasy trucks. The Brutus is a winner.
Yeah, I second that. I mean, not much other than the color. It's pretty tour accurate for the time.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we really don't get like an updated Brutus. Well, Brutus really doesn't change schemes anyways until 2011. So we're praising Brutus now, but we'll be ripping our head out. Some years down the line with no change Brutus for other reasons. So
Equalizer.
Equalizer number 37.
Yeah, so we saw Equalizer last episode with a Ford tooling.
Yeah.
Now it's back with a Chevy tooling, and they added 33 on the side. So nothing else besides that has changed about this paint scheme, I don't think.
No, we'll get the interesting roof decals here where it's equalizing, presumably Bigfoot, Gravedigger, Carolina Crusher, and Goldberg. So,
so that addition of the 33 is the only change.
33 is the number from when he ran.
MT, right?
God, what'd you say?
Pro MT, right?
Yeah, I think so. Somebody's going to yell at me if I did it wrong. It's one of those point stores that ran back in the day.
May not be Pro MT, but
no, actually, the Chevy body is more accurate to where Equalizer should have been. So this is the last time we get Equalizer, so get it while you can. If you had to get Ford or Chevy, you got to get the Chevy one. That's a little more up to speed here, studio.
Yeah,
I know. So we're working on it. But yeah, there's Equalizer.
Yeah, I mean, I still have this truck today on a shelf right over there. So it's seen its days, but it's another truck you just had to have, and it's the last time you ever see it. So just a good truck to have in your collection.
I agree. So next is another
37.
Another one. Here we go. So let's go through the first one real quick, and then we'll grab into the extended cab. So number 37, number part 2 of 37, we have an extended and non-extended cab of full bore. So there's the side view. Let's go straight to the next one because we're kind of pushing time. So here is the extended cab edition. So now we can see the paint scheme. The grille is painted with silver paint. This full bore paint style is going to be used, at least the graphics wise, are going to be used in a couple different editions of it for years to come. Honestly, full bore is my least favorite truck that I ever saw in Pigs because I always saw it. Every time I went to the store, it was always there. And I never picked them up. So I kicked myself about that because when I had to finish my collection off, I had to get all the full bores of the past, and they all haunted me like ghosts. But full bore is... I love the new full bore 2.0, but I never loved this one because it just was always on the Pigs. Every single year that it was released, it was always there, especially 2015. But anyway, there's my favorite out of all of them released is this one because the silver, the gray roll cage. But yeah, there's full bore.
I don't know. The real truck never really was. I mean, I want to identify with silver, but this is an accurate scheme. It's cool to see. I know, obviously, later on in life, we'll get kind of some fantasy full bores, and then we're back to real full bores, and then you got some rare full bore, and
I forgot about that.
So that actor gets a good life out of here with full bore. It's a staple. Nice one to see. Again, another one you got to chase your variants. So there you go.
Yep.
Yeah, and one variant that you'll never find. But anyway, RJ.
Oh no, you're good. Just keep going. I know we're up on time. You got to keep
All
going.
right, let's keep going.
Don't look at the clock. People are still coming in. We're fine.
Okay. All right.
Everything's fine.
No.
Both club is fine. Okay, we're moving on.
Okay, another independent, and we're just gonna keep going through independents here. Rolling Thunder. The only time you're ever gonna see it. Wait a second. Actually, do we get another one of these? I think
Not with this scheme.
not with this scheme, but the name, I believe. Right? We get one more.
We get one more with the name. Do we get two? Well, then a slight change, and then another slight change.
Okay, because I know that it eventually obviously switches to Thunder 4x4 at some point, but we do get Rolling Thunder a couple times. Some other years you'll see them. So this is the blue scheme. Out of all of the Rolling Thunder schemes we get, I think this is my favorite one. I always loved this basic blue scheme. Very reminiscent of Blue Thunder, though. So you take that for whatever you take it. But there is that, and there's the top. Again, simple but effective. So
it's another new independent. Jim Benzik is the donut master. I mean, if you put Jim Benzik in any donut competition, he's going to win it more times out of not. So it's cool to see here. Only time you get this scheme. We'll talk about the evolution of Rolling Thunder when we get to those ones. So, but until then, another one you got to have.
Yep, I agree with what Phil said. Tour accurate. My favorite version of this truck. Solid release.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's number 38, Rolling Thunder. Where are we at now? Number 39 is Live Wire.
Okay, so this is Live Wire Part 2. This is the red edition. We had a yellow edition last episode, kind of just randomly joining the scene here. This, I'm going to guess, this is probably a Hot Wheels original scheme, isn't it?
Yes.
Like, well, by the graphic style. Okay, so there's Levi's comment too. So I didn't know that. I was just guessing by the way these graphics look. So another Hot Wheels take on a independent body. Not bad. Not the best either, but it's pretty cool in my opinion.
But this is one where it's like we talked about with the Clydesdale. It still kind of keeps the spirit of the scheme with the horses and the right color. Live Wire was a yellow truck, and that's what we get in 2004. That's your tour accurate Live Wire. A year later, we see this Live Wire a couple more times. It's just bright red in your face. So yeah, I guess maybe it's more visually appealing, but Jim Leonard's never ran this scheme on the truck. I don't know if he ever had plans to. The truck really did not run too much longer. But I don't know, RJ, what do you say?
No, I mean, at least they kept it with the context of the original truck, the running truck. I didn't like this one as better as the Tour Accurate, but it wasn't as bad as some others for sure.
Well, the spirit of Live Wire, I'm pretty sure Jim Leonard's was a lineman. He works on the cable line. So that's why if you see there's a later version of Live Wire in real life that never ran any shows before it was sold to Australia, that it was a complete lineman scheme. So this one's a little more specific to where the inspiration of Live Wire comes from, because you see a lot of the live wires on the truck, a lot of the electric shock. So that's cool. It's a little more prominent here. So again, another visually appealing. This really looks like the Rolling Thunder we see later on.
Yeah, totally agree. Very reminiscent. Actually, I always got those confused in my collection. So wow, look at that number jump, 39 to 42. So we're now in number 42. This is Pure Adrenaline. It's so odd. I feel like this paint scheme came out later than it did. I know it comes out again, but why does this feel so misplaced?
Well, I don't think so. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong here. I do not think the real truck runs this scheme at this time.
But it does at some point.
It does later on as Pure Adrenaline with an E, and we get where in 2010. So we see the scheme twice. Pure Adrenaline spelled with an E later on in years, but I don't think we see this Pure Adrenaline running at this time. I could be totally wrong. So this could be a Hot Wheels design, and it's something we see much later. Hot Wheels had this cool design. Now I'm going to put it on the truck, and then they had to change the name a little bit. I'm going to double check here if RJ has
I think you're right, because at this time wasn't Randy Brown with Alex Blackwell and Turtle, so the Pure Adrenaline wasn't being used at the time.
I don't know because previous year we do see the previous Pure Adrenaline scheme, and yeah, the pictures I'm looking at, you don't see Pure Adrenaline running this scheme until many years later.
They're
And it has
saying 2009 here in the comments.
so this is a Hot Wheels original, but it's a Hot Wheels original we get later in life. Like Randy brings back Pure Adrenaline, and he's like, "I like that scheme. I'm going to use it."
Yeah, the only reason I said this because I know it comes up again with the plastic-based series 2009, which is relevant to when it comes out in real life. But it just feels so misplaced here. I just feel like I know I have it, but I feel like I've never actually seen this in 2005. Ahead of its time, definitely Hot Wheels original. You can tell by the artwork style, like you can tell a Neil Vandenberg artwork style out. This is definitely Hot Wheels artwork, and as we just figured out, it is. So anyway, there it is. Next up on the list, 43, if it is right.
Yes.
43, yeah. Okay, great. So here it is, the debut, I believe, of the Bel Air casting for Avenger. And, there's an argument to be made about this one. Yes, technically, for the grill portion of this truck, it is accurate at the time. Jim Kohler does not run the full grill until a couple of years later or a year later, or whatever it is. But the casting itself doesn't have the split in the window. There's a couple other things that the 124 scale will get an update to, but the 164 scale never does, unfortunately. So technically for this time period, this Avenger is pretty accurate. The paint color, I'd say, is a little off. It should be way darker. A funnier thing is I found this exact Avenger, as we discussed last episode, at Claire's, or whatever it's called, with the earring piercing place in the malls that you have. My sister was getting her ears pierced. This had to be 2006 or something, 7. But it was there. I bought it there. That's where I got this one at, and I still have that one. But odd little place to find Monster Jam trucks. But that's where I found this one. That I will always remember finding this one specific one there. You can also see that cut in the hood. I don't know why that's there. Phil may be able to chime in on it, but they do eventually recast the casting to have it without the hood scoop or piece there. It has no function. It's just there, but it does get removed. So they do cast it again.
Yeah, I don't know what the purpose is, but yeah, we get that recasting the next year. That's one of the running variants, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know why we get that. I guess it's kind of a cool little touch. It's not accurate, but I guess
and it serves no purpose. The thing is, actually, never mind. I can't say that yet. But it could serve a dual purpose. It could have been somewhere where they're going to insert. If people are saying it's plastic, I don't think that's a plastic insert. I think that's metal still.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
It could be where they were going to put some kind of motor in the front there, or something coming out of the hood for another custom concept of theirs.
That's a good theory. Well, yeah, what if they were making this this was Cremator 2.0?
Yeah. Yeah, or like a Roger Dodger with the motor coming out of the top. It could have been something like that. But clearly they didn't decide to go with anything to do with that. So it was kind of a waste of a casting because they had to recast it. When they recasted it, they should have done the updates that were required, which would have been that at least minimum a window split in the between the back and the front doors, and maybe add that grill on, which the 124 scale had the luxury of and the 164 scale never did. So anyway, whatever you want to take from this, I think it's a pretty good release. I think the forest green color, like the Chevy body had, should have been used again, but the accurate color of that navy blue roll cage is really a nice touch. So I think Phil's already put his 2 cents in. RJ, if you want to.
No, it's a good truck. Little, inconsistencies there, here and there, but I mean, again, the debut of the Bel Air Avenger. I mean,
yeah, I agree. And again, for the time period, no one's wondering about the casting work and the accuracy of it. But
they're just happy they have a accurate Avenger. So hats off.
Another great independent one-time deal here. Rambo with pretty, there's not much to it, so it's a pretty accurate body. I love that they have this one here. And then the grill also getting that special paint treatment with the full silver and the American flag on the hood. By far the most simple truck of this year. Very, very simple.
Can't screw this up. I mean, this is one that maybe could have been nominated for goofy Hot Wheels artwork, but Bill Weaver, Rambo classic here. This is really at the end of Rambo's life. The real truck gets sold to Charles Benz and becomes Pitbull. So, Yeah, really much right blending into the timeline here. So, like, by the time you probably have a Rambo, Charles has a truck and it has Pitbull decals on it. So, again, another simple one you can't screw up, but it's a rare one because you got to have it. And also, a weird fun fact: this isn't the first Rambo toy. Who made the first Rambo toy?
Spin Master made the first Rambo toy.
Spin Master made the first
2000.
toy.
All right, RJ.
No, I was just gonna say I actually worked on the this truck in real life.
Oh wow.
But it wasn't Rambo at the time. It was prime time at the time. But crazy to look back through my collections and find this truck and be like, wow, I actually worked on that thing all these years later, different name, but very cool truck to have in your collection. I'm glad I have it. Very rare too. Didn't see many of these.
Yeah. No, hats off to you. I keep saying hats off. That's the word tonight.
All right, Thrasher. Thrasher is not given the luxury of, or thankfully, not given the luxury of extended cab, single cab variants, just given an extended cab, which is accurate to the real truck. So they're going more accurate with it. They're using it to their advantage. I don't know why they were issuing double variants, but anyway, they did that sometimes and other times they didn't. Thrasher, this paint scheme, I don't know if it's real. I know they've done a custom one before. Is this one real?
Yeah, no, this is accurate.
Okay. So an accurate edition of Thrasher with this new extended cab, the first time they're officially using it for its actual use, which is being accurate. So there's Thrasher. Phil, if you want to toss in anything for Thrasher, I think we've already talked about it before, then RJ.
This is a lot closer to the Toyota bodies that this truck would be known for running, or some other shifts and Fords or whatever. So this is a lot closer, regardless of whatever body this truck has. So this scheme would end up becoming a peg warmer as time goes on. But for this first year, it's nice to have. We do have that earlier Thrasher from the small wheels. So an update, a nice update, and one you have to have.
Yep.
All right. Next up, number 45 or whatever we're at here. Number 46.
Screaming Demon.
Just so heavy. We started the year with a lot of gore, and then we just moved into Independence. So here's Screaming Demon, that flame scheme you're going to see for years to come, and then we'll see a white scheme at the end of the era of Screaming Demon. But very cool. I have nothing else to say about it, so there it is, the basic scheme.
We get Gary Bauer's Nightmare Express very early on, so Gary's still kind of involved here. He later sells a truck to Jay Snyder, who's father of Corey Snyder of Toxic now. So all kind of in the timeline here. Again, if you got Nightmare Express or doing Screaming Demon, this is what the truck looked like. So that's cool. Another one that, as life goes on, becomes a peg warmer.
Yeah. So makes sense. It's a little tiny.
The physical truck is now Dirt Crew. Yes, all the different pivoting around. So, but yeah, again, early on, you need this truck, but you see this a lot more years, and it gets very repetitive.
Before RJ, there's actually, Levi brought up a good point. I didn't have this issue with this edition of this truck, but this will become infamous for in 2011 or whatever it is, 10, 9, one of those years. That release, for whatever reason, when the roll cage, the red roll cage is exposed to UV or sunlight, it crumbles like paper. Ash paper, whatever you want to say, it crumbles, and we'll talk about that when we come to that episode. But I personally never have an issue with this release of it. It's just 2000 whatever that had that weird thing, but it'll become known for that manufacturer defect eventually in the future. So this will be talked about again. The Screaming Demon definitely haunts some people. So anyway, RJ, please, I'm sorry for cutting you off.
Hey, no, that was good. Screaming Demon's haunting some people. I agree. Solid scheme of the truck. Another one to have if you don't. Good truck.
Yeah. All right. Next up, 47, I think.
Actually, no, we go to 49.
All right. So very simple truck. So here's the side view of the first one, which is the single cab, and then we'll go straight to the next one, which is the extended cab.
Could be harder to find because I've always known my T-Maxes to be the regular cab.
Yeah. So they will. I mean, yes, there are rare variations of some of these. You might find them more often than not. It depends on how many they issued of each. But I think this is, judging by the photo, accurate because it's the extended cab edition of the truck. Yeah. So it could have been produced later in the year after they had the tooling or whatever. But you can see this is the T-Max, and there is a couple paint schemes that it will run. Hot Wheels will only give us this one during the era of the Traxxas T-Max. But this is the blue scheme. So you can see, very simple, nothing really exciting about it. But it was a nice truck to have, and I think the fact that they got the Traxxas sponsorship on there is the biggest part about this. It's not, yeah. So it's nice to have Traxxas involved. They obviously were involved with Monster Jam for a while. So having Traxxas's name on there is just super, super cool. But besides that, that's my input on T-Max.
Yeah, no personal connection. T-Max is actually the second ever truck I've owned. Wow. So T-Max was like the competitor for a while. Yeah, but it's the teammate, the sudden impact at this time. T-Max was really big. They probably should have got a chance at a World Finals at that time with whoever running it, CVA, Carl Van Horn or John Seasock before he goes to Batman. Mm-hmm. So what's interesting about that Traxxas, there will be some stories later on once we get to, I think, 2011 or 12, where there was some RC shenanigans, not with Traxxas, but another RC company that actually prevented a truck from being made. So,
well, stay tuned for that one. All right, RJ.
Really cool to see here.
No, I was just tour accurate T-Max Traxxas. Very surprising being on the truck. All these years later, looking back on it, just second what Phil said. Solid truck.
Yeah.
All right, so there it is. T-Max 49, skipping ahead in numbers. 50, American Dream. Fun fact, I do have a story about this one. So I was at a Christmas party years ago. I was very young, and there was a white elephant for the kids, and in that white elephant was American Dream Tilt-Offs edition, which I have got. And there was actually two for some reason. There was this one and the Tilt-Offs one. And at the time, as a collector, I loved having the normal edition of trucks. So the Tilt-Offs I wasn't really interested in. So my mom she worked with the lady whose son got that American Dream, and somehow she took mine and she traded it at work with her son's, and I got the normal one. And then years later, I had to chase down the one that I lost. But it was just a funny thing how I used to be a collector of just very specifics, and then now I'm a collector of all. But this brings back that memory of Christmas time years ago. It's just a funny one. But I love American Dream. It was a really cool one to have. If I recall correctly, this is not a correct scheme as well? Or was this
another one like Live Wire? So American Dream is the teammate to Pony Express that we see in 2004. This truck is at the end of its life at this point. I mean, the real truck was like a blue scheme with some yellow lightning bolts. And this one, they really made it Americana. And we do, like you mentioned with that tilt-off or coming out a couple years later, we see a lot of American Dreams over the years. American Dream does not run like really after 2005. And especially never with this scheme. And again, just like Screaming Demon and Thrasher, this becomes a peg warmer. As the more and more we keep seeing American Dream, it doesn't move. But it's a nice scheme for what it's worth. It's just this one's a drastic change from what the real truck is.
Yep. Solid fantasy scheme. This one was one of my favorites in the line back then. Was one of my favorites. I still have a couple of these to the day. They're not destroyed. So good truck. I liked it.
Yeah, very, again, Americana. Very cool. So there it is, and another independent. This is the anger management. Again, not receiving any special variations, but very cool scheme. Actually, personally, out of the two that they made, my still favorite of those two is this original scheme. This looks like Hot Wheels to me. Is this a real paint scheme here?
This should be a real scheme. Okay. I don't know if Hot Wheels designed it for the truck, but this is a real scheme. Both schemes are real to the truck.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, again, I love the scheme regardless of who designed it, and I think that this was better than the one they eventually changed to. I think this more detailed one was really cool. I never really got the Frankenstein-looking green guy on it, but it's just a really awesome truck. So anger management, nice to have, and it will come back again in a different look a couple of years down the line.
Yep, that's it's anger management, teammate to American Guardian, and we'll see next year the Cadillac Arrest. So all kind of getting in vain here. We have a whole bunch of American Guardians and small wheels. So get anger management when the team expands here. It's one you have to have.
Yep.
Yeah. RJ.
Oh, I agree. I second.
Okay, cool. Next up, this is just a
repeat. We're getting close to the end here. This is all fast forward here. So Gravedigger gets another release here, number 52. No change to the truck, but your card collector, we now have one as number 52. Also number 52. If you know, I'm gonna fast forward so we can get to some of the other stuff. Ninja Turtle here, that's with the orange band, number 52 as well. This render is a little different. I noticed it has the logos of Ninja Turtle on it, which is I don't think the other one had before, so that's kind of interesting.
And the real truck never ran. I don't think ever ran it that way.
Never ran a logo on the side of it.
Yeah. So this is a render, almost purely render accurate edition of these toys. The only thing that's missing are those eye inserts. That Michelangelo you're looking at actually is of all four the rarest edition of the big hubs. Just so if you are collecting, this one will probably give you trouble because it's for whatever reason it's the rarest of the four big hubs. I did have trouble tracking it down when I was trying to do a completion. Also, we talked about this last time. The orange one was a real truck, arguable, but real truck. At some point for a short amount of time, if someone messed up the paint or whatever, like Phil had assumed or guessed. But yeah, anyway, back to Great Bite. Somehow,
Great Bite again.
Yeah, so Great Bite, we've seen it packaged backwards. Now we're here in the big hubs. This is the last time you're going to see Great Bite, I believe. Which is unfortunate because it's still, again, my favorite of the Shark Reek style bodies. But there it is for the last time.
That's number 54, so we skipped again.
Now if you wanted
to 57.
That's my favorite of the Shark Reeks as well.
Yeah. I hear you, man. We're cranking because we got some other stuff to talk about.
Here is the weirdly looking render. Look at that thing. Hold on. Look at the rendering with those rims.
This is like this studio. This is like future Hot Wheels monster trucks rims on here.
Yeah. Anyway, there it is. That is the Leonardo turtle. We can skip through because we've already seen this many times. And like I said, I knew all my turtles, guys. This is the Raphael. We've seen this years and years and years now. Weird rim color choice. Also accurate to the toy rendering with that turtle logo.
Real truck, and they slapped the logo on it.
Yeah, actually looks better, honestly. It does look good with the Turtles logo. But that's that. And the last one to finish off is Taz, which is receiving an update. It does not have the cartoon gums or mouth or whatever you want to call it. It just has that smile. So Taz is back.
The real Taz truck is about ready to get on the circuit. So
yeah. Actually, you know what? I just memory popped up. At Claire's that day, I did actually buy this too. Both days, or both trucks, Avenger and Taz. I got them both at that place. So just funny how things pop up. Yeah, I remember getting this one. So there's Taz, and you'll see it again in a couple years or whenever it is. I think you'll see it maybe next year or two. But the real truck does not exist at this point, like we talked about. So it's just funny how it will become a real truck. RJ, if you want to talk about that.
They took the cartoon gums away. They still have the black outline of the gum. Yes, it would be there.
I'm not quite sure if it's like smiling or what that is, but yeah. All right, Phil. Let's get into the
all right.
nitty-gritty.
Take a deep breath here. That was the main line. It's goofy. We get a lot. This is a lot of packs here, and we have all this, some other extracurriculars. So let's get into them here.
This should be simple enough because there's not much to talk about with these, but these are the power packs.
Power pack. There's no variants on this version. I like this cool card back here to get a lot of stuff.
Small hub bling
back here. It's kind of out of place.
Let's take a moment to acknowledge the Small Hub King Bling and see that could have possibly been a release a couple years back, or actually a year back or 2 years back, with those weird codes and the weird things happening at the time. It's highly possible. I mean, they wouldn't have that rendering just sitting around for no reason. So that's interesting too. So anyway, we don't need to talk about the rest of the pack. Let's keep going.
Yeah, so everything in this pack here, in case you're not watching, Power Forward, Full Bore, Bad News, Nightmare Express, Bounty Hunter, and Gravedigger. Here's the second version of the pack, which is a lot more interesting.
Yep.
In this pack here, we have Predator, Gravedigger, T-Max, the Crimson Crusher, Wild Thing, and Bustin' Loose. Now, what's pretty interesting is that we do not see this Predator, which is a fantasy scheme at the time, Crimson Crusher, or that Wild Thing, or Bustin' Loose in 2005. These are all 2006 trucks that appear here in this 2005 pack.
Interesting. No
Yeah,
doubt.
I find that very interesting. Oh, there's actually, remember I just mentioned that Easter egg, the reflective Predator logo in silver. You can see that reflection. So I don't know what their deal is with that. It's just a really cool Easter egg that they'll do. I think almost every single year they'll have at least one truck with the reflective silver tampo. And another one that comes to mind is Destroyer from 2015 as well. But this is one of the first instances, like we had earlier with the Sudden Impact, that has that. So there's that. And let's keep going on.
Yeah, just quickly look, because this is our first look at Crimson Crusher and the Wild Thing on big rims and Bustin' Loose. We'll get more in depth with them in 2006. So hold your hats one more time for those.
Yeah.
Here's Tour Favorites 4-pack. There's nothing on these 4 trucks.
No.
Same card back as we saw with the Costco packs. By the way, those 6 packs were Costco exclusives, so explains why, because Costco would order that stuff around Christmas, so that's why you would see probably some 2006 blended in there.
Yeah.
The 4 favorites: Blue Thunder, Gravedigger, Maximum Destruction, and El Toro Loco. Nothing new. So not much to go on here. Now these other packs, these are the juicy ones for 2000.
Here we go. So kicking it off here, we have the only time you're going to see these two in this set. This is sorry, I was reading a comment. You're going to see 2 of these trucks that will never appear in big hub form with these paint schemes again. The first being this Prowler here with the classic scheme that we've seen for a couple years with these big hub yellow rims. And then you'll see in a moment at the end of the playset talk or the fan favorites talk, you'll see Predator as well. But this is an official 3-pack variation. If you guys have one of these, you might not know that, but this is a very hard to find, or at least in mint condition now, very hard to find variation of Prowler. So there is the big hub edition of Prowler. The other 2 aren't as important. Actually, I'm wrong. There is, I think I put it on the website now, but before we didn't have it, there's a Hot Wheels variation of an extended cab, which does not appear in singles form. So if you have the pack with Prowler and Hot Wheels, you've doubled up on your lucky finds that day, because you have both very rare variations of these trucks. Monster Mutt, unfortunately, does not have anything. So I forgot who sent this. Oh, that's actually, I bought this myself. What am I talking about? I thought someone sent these in. I bought this on eBay because I needed that Hot Wheels, and I replaced my other trucks too. I need to replace my Monster Mutt and Prowler. So I found that variation on eBay with the extended cab there, and turns out I didn't have it, so I bought it for the collection and then replaced the other 2. But yeah, so if you guys didn't know about that variation before because Brian didn't have it, now you're aware that that exists of Hot Wheels in addition to Prowler. And there's 2 variations of that pack, which have sometimes extended cab, sometimes single cab. So, you know.
Just pay attention. Look alive if you see these sets, because they're rare to begin with, and they've got an even rarer variation on them. I think these packs sold in Toys R Us.
Yeah, Luis was right. It is sold. These were sold in Toys R Us. I
think stores probably got these too.
Yes, I have vivid memories of going to Toys R Us with my dad and getting them, and then playing that DVD in our player. I don't even know what he calls anymore. It's been so long since DVDs, DVR, whatever it's called, CD player, whatever. Yeah, I remember totally that these were in Toys R Us. So here we go. We're entering the rarest territory, and this is one of the packs, but it's not the actual pack. So
this normal is Blue Thunder, Medusa, and Gravedigger.
Yes. So nothing special about this one. This is a very simple pack. You can get all of these in the singles packs.
Medusa in 2005. So
yeah. Actually, keep scrolling. Do we get a front view of Medusa?
Yeah. Well, it's hard to see.
You can't see it. But this is, so there's actually, I guess both packs are relevant with Medusa. There is 3 variations of white to Medusa in metal base form. Ford emblem, no Ford emblem, and extended cab. Extended cab is the rarest. Ford emblem less edition is the second rarest. Then this one's the other singles one is the normal. This one, I believe right there, what you're looking at is the Ford emblem list edition. Very hard to find because sellers on eBay take photos like this and they're so washed out that you can't find them. And if you do have one, congratulations, you probably just learned that you have a variation that you didn't know you had, because they were only ever released in this 3-pack.
But we don't have one with a Ford emblem, do we?
What do you mean?
Did they make a fan favorite with a Ford emblem on this?
Probably there might be a variation, but I know that variation exists solely in this pack because Medusa doesn't get that paint scheme, I don't believe, ever again
Right.
In the singles. So the Ford Emblem List Edition comes from these 3 packs. Now we enter this era. We've already got Blue Thunder with the extended cab. This is the second rarest Medusa ever, and she gets 3 very rare variations of her truck. This is the extended cab Medusa. It was a pain for me to find. It was my kryptonite trying to find this thing. I can't tell you how many times I searched eBay day in and day out looking for this truck. It is not one that you come across every day. Most people can't find it because it looks just like its release in the Flag series. It also looks very, very similar to obviously the single cab. The way you can find one of these, this is a secret, maybe I shouldn't be giving out because I know people want to find one of these, other collectors, but the way you can find one is if you have a front-facing view and you can't tell if the roof is extended or not, the A-frame, or the pillar, whatever you call it, I'm going through so many things in my mind. The pillar has a blue wrap over it on the Flag Series edition. The blue overlaps the pillar over to the hood. That's how you can tell that's the newer one. Because you can tell from the side view it has an extended cab, but you can't tell if it's the right one. So I had to do this craziness when I was looking for this microscopic zooming in on photos that are really bad quality and this and that. So it was just a crazy thing to hunt down. In addition to that, it's also one that has Easter egg on it. All of those stars that you see on there are reflective silver. So they kind of, made this truck even more special by doing that. But this truck is by far in the top tier of rare variations. We talk about rare things. There's kind of a separate thing. There's rare releases and there's rare variants. And of all of the variants that you can find of a truck, this I would say is probably number 1 of the variant side of rarity. And then we talk about the rarity side of just rarity. Ferrotor Pink Medusa is the leading edge of that. So she was blessed with 3 rare variations of a truck. So congratulations to Medusa. She's made her point in the toy line for sure. But that's the story of this extended cab and this craziness that comes along with it. So if you have this model with a metal base, reflective silver stars, all of the jazz that comes with that, you have of the top tier rarity of variations wise. Congratulations. It's not an easy thing to come by. So anyway, that's the rant on about Medusa, but it is not easy to find, and it was a headache and stressful. And every time I see this truck, it's my heart starts going brrr, because I know that I chased it for so long. And anyway, that's Medusa. RJ, if you want to talk about the packs, by the way, please.
Oh, no, you're good. No, you're good. I didn't have a Costco. You said I didn't have one of those around here, so I didn't see those packs. But these packs I definitely saw at Toys R Us growing up. And just like you played the heck out of them DVDs.
Oh, look what happens to be on my desk. I took a photo for a fellow member. Here it is, the bane of my existence, the metal base extended cab. And you can see mine's a little beat up, but extended cab Medusa. There it is. Okay, everyone's bringing me on screen. You can see my Saigon shaker in the background too. Thanks, Phil. Right there. Right there. So anyway, that's Medusa, extended cab, the rare variation of the white Medusa. Also, now I'm introducing to the world, which I didn't want to do because I want to find one, the Ford Emblem List Edition as well.
Did you
reveal that at some point? But
did yours have reverse tires, like our buddy Riley McCord pointed out?
Oh yeah. Riley is so good at finding reverse tires. Anytime I review something that has a reverse tire, he's the only one that notices it. Yeah, that's so funny. So yeah, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. So it makes that even rarer. And then this one, you will not find a pack of this series that doesn't have something rare in it. Here is the other Prowler or Predator scheme that we saw for a couple of years. And now it's on the big hubs, and you won't see this ever again, this specific scheme, and you'll never see it in big hub form outside this pack. So Prowler and Predator both receiving big hub variations. Predator, I'm not sure why, but it had a release, like you said, with the newer scheme in that the fantasy scheme or whatever in that 4-pack or 6-pack. But this is the only time you're going to see that yellow rim, orange chassis Prowler or Predator, Predator in this series. So Again, if you have this variation of Predator and you have that other variation of Prowler, you have very rare variations of trucks that most people never really know of, because I think when they look through Brian Patton's website, they're not looking through the multi-packs for variations. They're just looking at the singles. And these are the ones that'll sneak in on you. And like I just mentioned, these are the ones that'll get you when you're trying to complete a collection. So these guys also a little easier to find. I will be honest, they're much easier to find than the actual hardcore variants. But that's a really cool release. I actually really enjoy this Predator scheme on that big hub. It's really nice.
Also in this pack, it's Tour Favorites number 3. It's King Crunch we get again from 2004 and another El Toro Loco.
Yeah.
So that is the 2005 line. But here's some card backs. I had 2 cups of card backs. This first one's all sorts of goofy. It's like cycle over from 2004 because you got the Super Trucker and Expelled and Almost Dangerous from 2003 on there with big rims. Like they went full boogaloo on this card back. So it's kind of cool.
Wow.
And then we'll go look at the other one real quick. This one's really the template for kind of what the card backs would look like for a long time at this point. So has all the trucks that came out that year. Well, not all, but all trucks that, except for that Tough Enough again. That Tough Enough now has big rims. So maybe Tough Enough is missing, because now we move into this segment of the show. We are missing things. If you did not know, by counting, we skipped some numbers. What I can tell you, we're not going to go over like the codes, but there are a couple variants that we can discuss. You look at the old MonsterJam.com checklist. They do list a couple trucks that never did come out in 2005, but we do see later on in 2006. We see Bulldozers on the list, as well as Crimson Crusher and SWAT. Those are all trucks we see in 2006. In the case of Crimson Crusher, we do get that. It sneaks in on that Costco 6-pack we just showed. So those trucks are on the 2005 list. You're not going to find them in 2005. Another truck that is notable on the list that really does live in lore, it's I'll try to pull up a box here on kind of where we're going with this. If anybody has any questions, we'll answer just very few on 2005. This is a long one. There's a lot going on, but one of those missing trucks is the Crash Dummies. Crash Dummies was an old school toy line by Tyco. Wrong screen. Hold on. Tyco or Mattel brings it back, and this is an example of one of their play sets. There was also a cartoon on the Fox box. So Crash Dummies was a big toy line for Hot Wheels at that time. The checklist, the only reason we know that this was supposed to come out is that MonsterJam.com checklist, when it was published, it lists Crash Dummies. But we never see a Crash Dummies truck. I would like to presume that the Crash Dummies truck would be on an SUV body to maximize the space where you could see the advertising. And who knows, maybe they could have gave this the Ninja Turtle approach, and there could have been 4 Crash Dummies. Now, the list only lists 1, so I'm going to assume there's only 1, but this is one we did not see at all. It's on the list, so there's some Crash Dummies out there floating around that we never got. So would have been a little more appropriate tie-in with like the originals, because it is a cross promotion with another toy line that Hot Wheels had going on at that time, but never got it. There's also another very notable one that did not come out, and this has a very good story to it. For those of you that have the 2005 Monster Jam yearbook, there's an ad in there. Curiously, it says there's 45 trucks to collect them all. There was a lot more than 45 in this year. But one that did not come out that is in the yearbook is High Roller. Yeah. So High Roller is not running at there's the wrong tab again. Excuse me. High Roller is not running at this time. It's long gone. But for some reason, we have a High Roller present in the yearbook. Also, Riley, if you're noticing, that rear tire, his treads are going the wrong way. This is in the 2005 yearbook. There is a High Roller. It is on the single cab or the original pickup body. We never get this. This truck,
it's a shame.
Yeah, it's a shame. But this truck has such a lore because obviously we never get it. I can tell you from the early days in collecting, this is a holy grail truck. for prototype chasers and anybody, because the prototypes, they come and go, and there's a lot of different samples. And if you want to see a lot of those prototypes, go to the Brian Z. Patton website. We have a big prototype tab. This one's more special because this is of a truck we never got. Like, and you hear like the old stories, like even a story like a Crash Dummies or the SpongeBob truck. You hear about them, or the Bret Hart truck. You just know the stories, but you don't physically see it. So you only have to go with like the rumors. This is one you can physically see that you never got. So this is a big deal to have. And a lot of people were chasing this truck like no tomorrow. Like if Ryan was collecting in this time frame and knew nothing about Inferno, this was the top of his list.
This would have been the number one.
But I can tell you why it's not, because in 2010 we actually get High Roller, and although it's not on the same body, on metal chassis or whatever as well, the lore of it went away. The second that High Roller came out, and we'll explain when we get to 2010, that High Roller really came out because of the phenomena. This High Roller, collectors wanted a High Roller, and when Hot Wheels got that Classics line going, High Roller was on, or the World Finals segment as well. High Roller was on the top of its list. So fans finally got their High Roller, but when they got it, the lure of this truck went away, pretty much for it to be an afterthought. If you're still out there hunting, this is one that's still in the back of your head, but it's no longer a prize trophy, because now we've seen other prototypes of like wrestling trucks and the Holly to Holler trees that have a little more weight to them. But then you got that Inferno, and there's a lot more other stories where High Roller is no longer a priority. But trust me, if you were in collecting at this time frame for 5 years, this drove you nuts, and do whatever it takes to get it.
Thank God I didn't know about it during my time of collecting.
Yeah,
because I would be chasing.
Yeah, so this is a big one. I don't know why in 2005 we were supposed to see this. This truck is not running at this time. It's long gone. But there's still a prototype out there. I mean, if you want to really ignite the fire, let's see if we can end that 15-year run. But if you just want to take the easy bow, you do get one in 2010. It's a very solid one, and it's one that everybody wants. It's looking on the truck here. It doesn't look like there's any paint scheme change. It's just that tooling. But at that point, it's an afterthought, and everyone went home happy.
Yeah, I still think Spin Master should reissue it on the Willman front engine chassis, though. It would be pretty nice to have. I loved High Roller. It's one of my favorite originals by Monster Jam in like their Vegas style theme stuff. So this prototype would be awesome to have. I loved the release that Hot Wheels gave us, and I think that Spin Master should definitely bring it back. Retro Rebels or whatever with the retro tires and the front engine. Just give it, that retirement it really needs, which is a proper diecast release. But Hot Wheels gave us one that's picture perfect in most senses besides the chassis. So no complaining here. I love what we got, and this was a great little interesting token in that yearbook. But wherever it lives now, whether it's in Mattel's basement archives or someone's collection that they don't even know that they have, we'll see maybe one day where it ended up. But anyway, that's a really cool one. It's I can totally understand the pain of collectors at the time seeing this and chasing.
And this is not like a different paint scheme. Like there'll be a Samson we'll talk about in a number of years. But like this is a truck that you don't get. Like it's not a scheme. It's like there it is, and can't have it.
Drove me crazy. I'm seeing that here. Crazy.
Anyway, is that the end of show and tell here for this one?
That is the end. If there's any questions briefly about 2005, as you can tell, this has been a very long episode. There's almost everything in this line was new, except for very few variations.
For those wondering, that was up there this entire episode.
Yeah, and this has been sitting next to me the whole time.
I'll put Kraken up there too.
Really make that in tonight.
There we go.
That ornament.
I see a couple random comments. Somebody says they made a red time flies in 2010. I saw it with my own eyes. Well, I think you got to get your eyes checked, but I don't know. I don't mean to be mean, but no. Can you guys show that weird expelled place that you mentioned about on episode 6? Next, on the 2006 episode, we will get to that play set that has the expelled on it. Expelled's not in it by any means, but we'll talk about that play set when we get to the 2006 episode, which I don't know on our scheduling kind of So we'll give you a heads up on what the scheduling is. Next week, we'll finish off Muscle Machines. RJ will join us once again.
We have another Muscle Machines episode.
The last Muscle Machines episode, we'll try to get through a very painful 2005 Muscle Machines line. We'll also go over some of the NASCAR Muscle Machines, a lot of the different Muscle Machines that never came out, some of them are very important, and just kind of briefly go over some of the other scales that they had for Muscle Machines. So next week is the conclusion of our Muscle Machine series. And I believe after that, we are going to hit episode 10. So I think we're going to have something special if we can get it together.
Yeah, we did announce it already. It's preliminary still, but Brian Patton is going to join us on the podcast and talk about his life in collecting. We're kind of just giving him the floor. There's no year attached to it. He'll show us his collection, answer questions. People want to know what he looks like. You'll finally see him if you have never seen a picture of him before or met him in real life. He's a wonderful, charismatic person and very nice guy, and it'll be very awesome to have him on our podcast.
I'm eating it. Right.
They're calling you Phony Phil.
Okay, so now this is the next part. You got to get me a bottle of that old fish food. I will eat it. I ain't gonna get it on my own.
Someone out there find a Firemouth place or a Firemouth 2-pack with the fish food and the Rev and Go. Give me the Rev and Go. Give Phil the fish food, and we'll be good.
I'll take the Rev and Go.
And RJ will take the plastic. So
yeah.
That's all right. Coming here again. Did they ever release a high roller a different time?
Yes.
Yes. 2010, they did officially come out with the high roller 5 years after they were supposed to originally come out of the high roller. So everybody's got high rollers in their collections. They just don't have that pesky one 5 years prior. That's what drove collectors crazy, because for 5 years, that was something they could not have. And they finally did get it. Maybe not the same, but for 5 years, that was the holy grail of Hot Wheels monster trucks.
I also want to plug some independent merchandise because I was given this by Danny Mass and on behalf of the Twisted Addiction team. If you guys want one of these Monster Masters, it's hard to see, sorry. Monster Masters Twisted Addictions, they're available, I believe, just by messaging the team if you want one, and that's how you purchase it. You message them and they'll give you the details on how to purchase it. But there's no website to buy them from. But I received this yesterday. I haven't made a post about it yet in Monster Collecting, but I will. So I want to thank Danny Mass for this. It's a really nice addition of an independent truck that we have not received professionally done besides this release. So again, message the team. I don't know how much they are. I'm assuming $10 to $15 probably. I also received a buckshot from Jeremy Johns. So if you're watching, Jeremy, thank you for that. Now for Brian Patton's website, we need Rockstar and we need California Kid, but we'll find those eventually online or not. And then we're caught up. But yeah, Twisted Addiction, very cool truck. I mean, they did a really wonderful job with it. I know you can't really see it because of the bubble, but I just want to plug that.
I'm sure we'll talk about Monster Masters down the line.
Oh, we will.
We'll find a way.
Yeah, but that'll be a long time from now. Anyway, with that said, I think we're good.
Yeah, we're tapped out here. If you're listening on audio,
definitely.
Thank you for joining us for 2 hours and over a half hour here. We'd like to thank RJ for joining us once again.
Yes.
We learned a lot about 2005, and I'm very honored to have done it with our friend RJ and very hard on the webpage. And I know next week we'll be toughing it out to finish out Muscle Machines, so good to have you back with us.
Toughing it out, not for you guys. I'm going to be here like a college lecturer, sitting here wondering.
It's tough. Like we were going crazy with like Van Helsing. Like the whole 2005 is like a big Van Helsing. It's not pretty. So please tough it out with us next week so you can learn a lot. But after you see next week's episode, you'll understand why Muscle Machines don't do monster trucks no more. So,
yeah, I look forward to it regardless. So, thank you all for watching, spending time with us tonight. As long as you did, if you stuck in since the beginning, first seconds, thank you for your support and listening to our voices for so long. RJ, it's been an honor to have you back. Phil, congratulations on your achievement. I look forward to achieving something just as great someday with Inferno. But for now, congratulations on your find. And also, again, find that fish food, find that Firemouth truck fish food 2-pack, send it to me or send it to Phil. We're going to get that to him. Phony Phil for now, but maybe one day. I don't know. I'll think a new nickname for you. But anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great night, and we'll see you guys next week. This is Ryan, RJ, and Phil signing out.